Get 'em, Jimmy, where Loshak at? The bottle's getting nippy up the Kraken. We stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
Hello, everyone. What's up? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. This is the Loshak and the Bag Show for Tuesday, April 18th. We do this every Tuesday. He's Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. We have a lot of fun here with all the entire Pub Sports Radio crew, all the low baggers everywhere, everyone watching live, giving comments. We've, Jimmy, I'm a little bit of a heater right now. 6 straight shows, great records, so now I know how teams like Boston and Tampa Bay feel, when they start stacking wins in a row. It feels good, but the pressure's also there. We're going to have a lot of fun. Today's card is interesting, mostly baseball. Of course, we got the playoffs, which, I told you on the Sunday night show, because I felt bad giving some shitty picks on the Sunday night show. So I told you about everything that I liked the next day. Shohei Ohtani did cash. And of course, what I did say, I'm sure you heard it and probably very much agreed with it. I took first period unders and almost everything. So that happened yesterday in the NHL playoffs. And we got it all again today. We'll see what you say about what you have to think about the playoff games today in the NHL. Jimmy the Bag. I want to keep it going, so I feel pressure. I feel pressure every show. How you doing, Jim?
I am doing well. I had a second straight awful Sunday night live show, so I'm still kind of feeling that. I'm very excited about how well you've been doing, and I don't know if you gave everybody exactly how well you have been doing, because it's one thing to win 6 straight shows, but you're 66-27 plus 41.92 units over those 6 shows. So they're not just mild wins; they're enormous wins.
I actually, credited myself with 41.72 because that Detroit Tigers first 3 that I took at plus 190, and then a little bit later, someone said they found an MGM line at plus 210, so we wrote it down at that. But then later on, I was like, you know what? I'll just take 190. So I have myself at 41.72 units. Average odds minus 102, and ROI 37.9% over 90 whatever picks that is. So it's been a good run. We may as well talk about it when you do it, and hopefully you continue. You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yes, I wanted to talk to you at some point because I have you 0.20 units higher than you do. So I just so we'll go over that because it's just been a short in baseball.
Yeah, that's because of that Detroit first 3. I gave myself plus 190 instead of plus 210.
Why did you do that?
Because I don't know. Because it was important, But the guy found a plus 210 at BetMGM. BetMGM in general is a pretty shitty book. I don't even play there because they're so shitty. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just fucking take the plus 190, even though line shopping is very important, of course. And BetMGM is a real book. They're just kind of shitty, so I just gave myself plus 190.
Okay, so that was the issue. Okay, so that clears that up. It is great to see everybody. Viper NB in the house. He's already on Rays money line, Yankees -1, and Cards -1. We'll copy and paste that right now in business. So last year, as you guys, some of you remember, I went 17-2 off my first 19 bets in the NHL playoffs. And last year was the first year that I stated I don't want to bet game 1s of series. It's so much easier betting game 2. And I kind of want to follow that this year again in NHL. I know that we've made a couple moves in NBA, but in NHL, I kind of want to keep to that. So we'll go over that. I haven't moved on anything yet. I do have one series bet, but that's about it. Mr. Vape in the house. Dan Kelly said, could not figure out why the whole world was on Golden State yesterday. Golden State road record demanded it was Sacramento or nothing, regardless of any situation, playoff series, etc. And Dan Kelly says, for a similar reason, I will be on Golden State at home. There might even be some value from the recency-loving public. First quarter, Knicks Cleveland over 55 at -115. I do have the Knicks in that series, a plus 170. I'm going to copy and paste that. Dan, we are closing with NBA today. Wham Bam is joining us, so we will be closing up with NBA. Let me just copy and paste Dan Kelly's look on that first quarter over. There's Jay Smooth in the house, Markel, Newark, Justin McElvey, D. Jenkins, Serious Business, Leonard Porsche Jr., Wine Time Sports. Wine Time Sports was at the Angels game. I believe it was on Friday with his boys, and filmed a bit of it, and it was great. It was great to see you guys at the game. You guys all cashed on the under. That was a beautiful work. Rockstar 82, Saturated says, careful, don't get run over by the Cubs train. Economist ready to get to work. LJ from H-Town, Subhuman, Gaucho, Troy Torrance, Bill Wennington, Bo Jackson, Vaughn Polo, Christopher Carter. There's Sharpie in the house, of course. The Balking Dead, 3:10 p.m. Eastern today. There is Clint Star, the diehard MMA podcast, says death, taxes, and Islanders unders in the NHL playoffs. Easy money. J-Dub, Sky Dragon, Troy Torrance. Says, I see what you mean in saying you can't sleep after taking it out. I never felt more motivated to get cash, says Troy. Yeah, it's one of the biggest things that we have to deal with in this business. Danielson, Mr. Heat, Birdie. Great to see Birdie, AOD, Rocco Rogers, the Nuke Worker. There's Flash, our pal down in Costa Rica. Great to see you, Flash. Billy Friedrich, Rocco Rogers, Hunter Engelhart. He's on the Tigers' first 5 money line at plus a 120. Let me copy that up. Get that copied. Jay Peasy, B-Lab, Christian Rivas. Great group. So,
hell yeah. Shout out to everyone. All these. Shout out to Flash. What's up, Flash? How's it going? Wow. Everyone's in the comment section here. A lot of great comments. Real Madrid, plus 155. We like that, Jim?
I have not copied that. Who gave us that one?
I don't know. Subhuman Gaucho.
Okay, Subhuman. Okay, he's great. So, okay, let me just copy and paste all of this. I got to get this Tigers game up. It's a first 5 Tigers look from Hunter Engelhart, who you guys may remember as being a big part of the show over the years. Alfred 44, Juan Ruiz. What a great group. Bo Jackson says in the last 14 playoff games that Scott Foster has officiated, Chris Paul has never won. They meet again for Suns Clippers in game 2. Mr. Heat backing the Real Madrid spot. Yes, I don't know how many times you want me to thank you, Bill Wennington, but you're welcome. Again, you're welcome. So you can keep repeating it, and I will keep saying you're welcome. Glad that you got the cash. All right, so let's get to work. Pistol Pete Loshak in NHL. Sorry, I'm moving too quickly. It's a tough time of year with all this. All of these games to cap. But let's get to work here, Pete. We start with the Rangers, New Jersey Devils, first round, game 1 of the East.
Okay, we're starting with NHL. Okay, no problem. Let me just bring up a different document here. All right. Rangers, New Jersey, let me see where the lines are. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a great series, right? Probably goes I might think maybe a series going 7 games might be worth a shot. I don't even know what the odds are, but it's obviously going to be a great tight series. My first thought is under and first period under. Once again, I did bet it a little bit on the overnight line. Nothing crazy, but kind of no-brainer-ish. Taking first period and unders in a lot of these game 1s. And as far as the actual side is concerned, I don't know. It's probably dead on. I mean, I guess. Do you trust Vanacek? You're the one who has to answer that, Jimmy the Bag. Shesty obviously is awesome for the Rangers, right? Unless I'm wrong here. And as far as the team is concerned, yeah, I'd give a small edge to New Jersey, but not big enough to make me think that the Rangers won't, win at least 2 or 3 games in this series. First period under, full game under. And I guess before I hear what you have to say about it, if you gave me a free play, I'd take New Jersey on the money line in game 1. They're very scary to go against Chesty, though, right?
Yes, and Chesty has heated up, over the last little bit, and we still don't really know. There are some question marks in between the pipes in the playoffs today. Vanacek and Samsonov being the biggest ones, although they're both coming off strong regular seasons. The Devils opened up at minus 132. They're now minus 128, and from a total look, it opened up at 6, minus 118 to the under, and it's been at 5.5 now since 11:19 this morning. It's been at 5.5 at Pinnacle. Shesty, 37-13 and 8, 2.48 goals against average, 9-16 save percentage, 3 shutouts. We have already heard from both Spenny and from DG, Dennis Garcia. They're both on the Rangers here at this point.
Mhm.
Clint also back in that look on the Rangers. Says took them to win the series, but this is extremely competitive. I expect the better goalie to win in the long run. Spenny Pennybomb says New Jersey's overachieved, and I expect them to come back down to earth, playing a team that's geared up, ready to go deep again. Birdie says I like the Devils here. Rangers are not near physical enough to slow down this Devils team, in my opinion. Speed will rule out here. Devils are getting no respect, but that New Jersey blue line is a veteran and skilled. So. And Dan Kelly said, if I was a young billionaire, I'd go all 6 or 7 games of this, in this series. It's going to be a good one. Jay Stone looking at the Rangers' first period. There's Jay, final take. Our guy Jay in the house. Great to see you, Jay. So Rangers 5-2-3 over their past 10. They did lose 3 of their last 4 games moving into the playoffs. They had let go of trying to win a home ice in this series or even go for the division title with the Met. The Devils 7-3-0, 29.2% power play, 87% penalty killing. Both special teams on both sides are very, very good. The Rangers, well, the Devils have franchise records with 112 points and 52 wins. They had 63 points last season. And I agree with the take that they're not getting the respect they deserve. And the question is, do the Rangers have the type of forwards that can slow down the Devils' speed? Because there's a major speed advantage for the Devils. And I don't know if they do. Obviously, I've got futures on the Rangers from the beginning of the year, but I'm extremely nervous about this series. The Devils looked excellent down the stretch. They put pressure on the Hurricanes to win the Met. They won 4 of their last 5. Jack Hughes, 43 goals, franchise record 99 points. I mean, this kid, if his shoulders can stay healthy and he can, create man shoulders at some point and not get hurt all the time, he's going to be the highest scoring American-born player in history. They also have Luke Hughes, who they picked up out of Michigan late in the year. So now Jack has his youngest brother rolling with them as well. So if you look at these guys, it's young against old, and the old have a huge playoff experience edge. The Devils are back in the playoffs for the first time since 2018. This is only the second time the Devils have been in the playoffs since they lost the 2012 Stanley Cup final to the Kings. So you have Hischier, Bratt, Mercer, Timo Meyer, all 26 or younger. And then you have Zibanejad, Kreider, Kane, Tarasenko, Panarin, all 30 or over. You have the kid line in Philip Hedl, who can't win faceoffs. So it's a really tricky situation with Hedl. You have him with Lafreniere and Kakko last year. They were absolutely incredible, but you have this problem with Hedl not winning faceoffs. You need to win the faceoff battle because the Devils have this huge speed advantage, and they also have Andre Palat. The Devils are extremely dangerous here, and I would not be surprised if my futures are done at the end of this series. I with the home ice advantage, I'm very, very concerned about my futures, and I would prefer not to bet a game once. And in fact, this move towards the under, I thought that it was wrong. If would it surprise anybody if the Devils come out and score 2 goals in the first 8 minutes, and that the Prudential Center is going bananas? That wouldn't shock me here. And at this point, I'm looking at that over 5.5. I find it somewhat appealing. Again, after last year, catching 17 of 19 right off the hop in playoffs, that was all game 2 and beyond. So I'm hesitant here.
I hear you about that, except for the totals. I mean, yesterday I took 3 unders, and I actually had the LA Edmonton under, which lost, but it was looking great the whole time. But I took them pretty big, and I only took Carolina and Dallas first period unders, but both of those, cashed, although there was a goal in those games. So you think that, Chesty is great. Vanacek should be fine, right? Why are we not taking another blind first period under?
Because the first 8 minutes of this hockey game scare me.
Right.
Scare me very much. So, look, I understand why it's gone from 6 to 5.5, but this place is going to be going absolutely bananas. So, I'm just hesitant. I feel like my futures are in grave danger.
Danger. Wow.
Yeah, and it may be a spot where It may be a spot where I should actually put a future in on the. I'm not going to start hedging at this point.
Right.
Brady says, I'm with you. I lean overs in the series. He says there has to be goals. Both are too skilled.
Right.
He says he's not betting any more totals, but if he had to, he would go over in this game. That does it actually makes. There's so much offense, and the penalty killing units are strong, but how strong are they? So.
All right. You know what, Jim? I'd like to throw something on here for my official NHL record. Okay. You shop around, you can probably get a better line, but I'll say this series goes 7 games plus 200 current line at Heritage. What do you think about that? That's not a terrible bet, right?
Look, you're running very hot in the NHL. I think that you should just, trust yourself.
Okay. If I really wanted to be safer, I'd take both 6 and 7 and edge them out at a favorite line. But I'll just take those 7 games plus 200. What is your concern here about that one?
I think this goes 7 games. Right. I agree.
Okay, that's an official bet. You can put it on my record. I'll bet it. It's a Heritage line. If you shop around, you can probably find better. But Rangers Devils goes 7 plus 200. Official play.
Rangers Devils goes 7. Yeah, look, I get it. I absolutely get it. So, I think it's a pretty shrewd look, man. And you're getting a plus money beside it. I completely get it here. Bertie says, I worry, Pete, because New Jersey has been so good on the road. I mean, look at the Rangers on the road too. I mean, both teams are very good on the road, but I do think it's going to be a very close series. All right, so that is a Rangers Devils first game. We have a bunch of cappers on the Rangers. I think that Billy Frieder says, does their great road record translate to the playoffs? I do believe that a great road record in the regular season translates to the playoffs. I do. I really do. I also think that I legitimately think that the Devils have value here. I think the pressure's on the Rangers. I think the Devils have value here in game 1. I'm trying not to move on game 1s, and look, I don't want to be up against Spencer and Dennis, but the more we talk about this, I think the Devils -1. And even if the Devils win the first game, it's not a spot where, it's not a spot where the Rangers will be out of it then. I mean, this series is going to go deep. So Subhuman Gouch says, I have Rangers to score the most goals in series at plus money. Could see them exploding for a lot of goals in games and catching this ticket even after a losing season. Billy Friedrich says, Devils may take an early lead at home. I may look to live bet the Rangers if they go down early. The more we talk about it and the more I'm trying not to have any action on game 1s, I think the Devils -1 is a nice spot. Sharpie says, Jimmy, all I have to say is stick to your rules. They work for a reason. Yes, they do. They do. I'm not sure if I'm going to move on Devils -1, but at this point, I think that would be and he says, even if they lose the series, I feel you, Subhuman Gaucho. Let's move on. But I love your look, Pete. I think it's a great one. Loshak has Rangers.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, if I took 6 or 7, it'd be -217, which is much safer and much more to my liking. But I'll just go with the 7 games. The Rangers have. I mean, Chesty could steal 3 games on his own, right?
This is not the Chesty of last year. He looked a little stronger down the stretch, but last year he was a Vezina Trophy winner. Now we've seen. He has almost the exact same numbers as Vasilevsky had last year in the regular season, and then of course Vasilevsky was spectacular in the playoffs. So, I get it. Spreadsheet play today is in for Ron Crawford. Baltimore -1 at -113. We'll go over all that. And then look at Brady says, have you seen one person on the Devils for this series? Says everyone on the Rangers and Devils are still -130 for game 1. I've seen 0 money on the Devils. How the hell is New Jersey -130 favorites here? So I do like it.
Okay.
I do like it. And there's Ski Profit in the house.
Oh, shout out Ski Profit.
Because if it ain't Shesterkin, it ain't working.
I can't tell if that's an endorsement of my question that he can steal 3 games on his own. But yeah, what a weird series. I just feel like it's going to go 7 games for sure. Not very likely.
I think it's very likely as well. The only thing that could happen is, we've seen teams get very hot here, and the Devils are more than capable of
no question
of getting really hot here. And the Devils scare me. They scare me. Look, I'm sitting here with Rangers futures, and I'm very nervous. So.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's roll on. Next up for us, the second game on the card here is Lightning Maple Leafs at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, and this is a huge game. huge game for this franchise up here. Take it away, Pete. Set the table.
I saw a funny joke on Twitter. Someone said, with all the energy from the narratives surrounding this series, you could power all of whatever, San Antonio or some city. Yeah, everyone's friggin' talking about this nonstop, ad nauseum, all those phrases, all those terms. Obviously, the question is, how awesome is Vasilevsky? Exactly. How pissed/talented is Toronto? Exactly. I don't really have an answer for those questions. Obviously, Toronto in general tends to be a wildly overvalued team in all ways, at home, especially on their money lines, on their series prices. They underwhelm this way, that way, but Tampa Bay, is obviously a far weaker team than they have been in the past, even with Vasi now. And I got to think Toronto is a good bet to win the series, but what do I know? And in this game, I really don't know. Jim, what do you think?
Well, I cannot believe the Leafs are this big of a favorite. I mean, that's got to be the first thing. That's just
really.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking just because, like, with Tampa Bay, Vasi has had his down periods this year, and as a team, they're not what they were in previous years. Toronto is obviously much better and pissed, chip on their shoulder, so they're a favorite with a chip on their shoulder. I was thinking Toronto's the play here. In the series, I mean.
Well, they're huge favorites. Bigger than I would have ever expected here. Really? Let's start with the goaltenders because I think, you have to start there. Also, everything. So 2018, 2019, the Lightning were the second best hockey team, or were they the second highest points in the history of the NHL? And then they got swept by the Blue Jackets in the first round. Since then, they've changed their MO. They've just completely changed it. They don't care about putting it on down the stretch. They don't care. They didn't care this year again. They started looking good for a little bit, and then, they just snapped their 4-game losing streak to close out the year. Now, Elliott did start 3 of those 4 games. But you have to start with the goaltending here. Dan Kelly says, I've got a bet on the Maple Leafs to win the Stanley Cup, but only because I've been betting that every year since 1960. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Leafs are a perennial, like the Yankees are perennially overvalued team, but once in a while, like once every 5 seasons or whatever, they actually become undervalued. And I feel like maybe for the playoffs here, this is where Toronto finally has betting value.
Well, let's break it all down here. It's a lot of people are very confident in the Leafs this year, and I don't know how they are. Look, I love the Luke Shen pickup. I mean, that's just such a huge pickup. It gives them some toughness and accountability, but still, they opened up minus 145. They're now minus 156. From a total perspective, this opened up at 6 minus 110 to the under. It's now minus 115 to the under. Dennis Garcia says, even at this price, you have to take Lightning in the series, and I get it. But let's start with the goaltenders. You have Vasilevsky. So this guy has been the best goaltender we've ever seen in our lifetimes. Just over the past 3 years alone in the playoffs, 48 and 23, 928 save percentage, 2.08 goals against average. He's been spectacular. And then you look at Samsonov. Now, Samsonov appeared in 8 games with the Capitals in 21-22. He went 1-6, 7 starts, 1-6 with a 907 save percentage and 2.98 goals against average. And that was the reason why they got rid of him. They let him go, was because when push came to shove in the most important games, he wasn't there. Now, he could be there this year. He looked great, and there's every reason to have confidence in him. Also, that forward group, it's the most accountable defensively I've seen them play. It started happening earlier in the year when they had all the injuries. You saw Matthews and Marner and Carlson. You saw them all just start playing very, very defensive, and it was the best I've seen those great forwards play. So this is a Maple Leafs team that was up 3-2 last year against Tampa. Couldn't finish off the deal. They haven't gone beyond the first round in 2004. The stats, I mean, it's just alarming when you look at what Toronto has done. They've lost 8 straight playoff series. They've lost in the first round in each of the past 6 seasons. So, this is, look, I don't know how people are this confident on the Leafs. Obviously, Tanner Jeannot not being in the lineup, he's dealing with lower body injuries, hugely detrimental to the Lightning. The toughness, is he's a critical guy to the bottom 6 forwards, but they have great bottom 6. I don't know if I was sitting here, I don't see why I wouldn't move on the Lightning first period or move on the Lightning. I'm trying not to make first game series bets, but
because first of all, is Vasily a superhero this year? He's a great goalie this year, but is he the level where he was in previous years? I'm not seeing that at all.
Well, okay, here, let me pull this up. So this year, we'll compare his regular season numbers from this year to last year, and I think you'll see a similarity. I mean, he's come to the point where he knows that he can turn it on at any time, and there's no reason for us not to believe him. So let's just go over what he did in 2022 here very quickly. We'll go to stats and move over to 2022. 2021-22, he had pretty much the exact same record. He had a 2.49 goals against average and a 916 save percentage. This year, he had a 2.65 goals against average and 915 save percentage. What did he do come playoff time? He completely became the best goalie in the league again. And there's no pressure on the Lightning here. They know that. No one expects that much from them this year. They put their own pressure on themselves, but there's so much pressure on the Leafs here. I mean, it's just I fear for these kids. I mean, the whole team will get blown up if they don't succeed here. I feel bad that they're in this situation, and I don't want to bet them. I don't want anything to do with them. Now, if they can get past this first round series, can they then go beat the next monster in their closet, the Boston Bruins? I mean, it's very, very, very difficult. So, I
mean, you're saying Vasily turned it on last year and became the best goalie and blah, blah, blah. It still went to 7 games that series. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. 7 games, and the Lightning were lucky to get out of it. Very, very lucky. I mean, I was in Central Florida for the last 2 games of that series. I mean, they were very lucky. So, look.
All right, Jim, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Heritage line now. I'm going to take Toronto in game 1, -1 plus 107.
Leafs -1 at plus 107. Birdie says that he likes the Maple Leafs tonight, cautiously hoping they play consistent and their depth will be enough to push them through. Says if Leafs lose, they have to blow it all up. Nuke says, what happens if Samsonov gets lit up early? That's the worst possible scenario.
And that could happen. And then you lose a unit on a dog line, which, happens even when you're hot as hell,
Totally. No, I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with your move here at all. I just, it does concern me. This total here, did you have any interest in it?
No, not really. I mean, obviously, despite it all, I would be leaning, first period under. I mean, yes, I do like first period under. I did already bet that, but I'm not going to make it official here.
Ron Crawford is with you. NHL spreadsheet play today is the Leafs in regulation.
Oh, there you go. That's already a winner then. Even better than having closing line value, as in my opinion, is when the Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day comes out after I give my opinion and it turns out to agree with it. Shout out to Ron Crawford.
Brady says Samsonov's lost 3 games at home all year. That has to hold up. I can't wait to watch it. At this point, I much prefer to be moving on the second game of this series, and it would be Lightning or no bet for me. Let's talk about game 3 here in the NHL playoffs, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Jets, Golden Knights. Why don't you set the table for us?
Well, I kind of know, again, no-brainer bet the under. I got 6, I think, at 120. I think it's gone down since then. And I hit at a book an early first period under. I think I got plus 110. I think that's gone down as well. You got Hellebuck and Vegas, who I think, at least to start, will play a defense-oriented game, of course, and kind of just 2 no-brainer plays as far as the actual money lines are concerned. No real opinion aside from I don't know. I don't really like. I mean, Winnipeg, was so explosive to close the season, including that game in our last show. I think it was when you gave them, and I tailed it. Jimmy the Bag had a winner there with Winnipeg first period, blind tail of you. And so I don't really want to take Winnipeg here, but probably at the line, if you gave me a free play, I'd have to, but definitely thinking under and first period under.
Yeah, I like those looks. The 6 has gone down to, actually it opened at 5.5 at Pinnacle, 2 days ago at 104. It never reached 6, but
I'm at Caesars.
Oh yeah, no, there I saw 6s too, just on the Pinnacle. So here we've had a 6-cent move to the under 5.5. Laurent Brossoit here is dangerous. He's so dangerous. You have Laurent Brossoit going against a team that didn't want him. You have this Brossoit who has not lost in regulation this year. He has a .927 save percentage, and we've just seen this before. So he was the backup for Hellebuck from 2018 to 2021. He was the backup for Hellebuck when Hellebuck won the Vezina Trophy here. So you have that. And then you have Mark Stone. They were circumventing the cap, the same thing that the Lightning did with Kucherov when they won the Cup, 2 years ago. And he's ready to go. And where's Mark Stone born? In Winnipeg. He's a Winnipeg boy going up against his team in the first round. He was tearing up talking about coming back into the lineup. That's the kind of leader and player that Mark Stone is. So Winnipeg 6-4-0 over their past 10, 15.2% power play, 73.3% penalty killing. Vegas 6-1-3, 14.8% power play, 68% penalty killing. The Jets finished the regular season off in decent fashion. Their 3-game winning streak was snapped in that loss to Colorado at the end of the year, but they were good. The Golden Knights finished the regular season very strong. One regulation loss over their final 13 games, and now they get Stone back. Is the concern, and Stone was great this year. 38 points in 43 games, 17 goals. He looked so good. Is the concern here that you have the star player returning? You could say that if you want, because this is a very veteran-laden Winnipeg Jets squad. Also, Zach Whitecloud, he missed last 2 games with a lower back injury. He's expected to be back. And then for bonus, we don't even know if Nikolai Ehlers is going to be in the lineup. He's dealing with an upper body injury. The Jets were 0-3 against the Knights in the regular season. Andrew G says Jets know Brossoit better than he knows himself. Look, I'm thinking the opposite here. I don't care what they remember from Brossoit. Maybe they remember a weak glove hand or something like that. But these kids, and he's not a kid, he's a vet, but he's hasn't played much in the NHL. These guys can get hot here. And I'm very concerned that Brossoit gets very hot here. And if that's the case, then the unders are going to keep paying. They're going to keep paying and paying. Brady says the whole world on the Jets. Jets and Rangers and Leafs seem to be the consensus choice for the entire betting market. Says I don't get why Vegas is so undervalued by betting public yet again, -150 in game 1. I don't know how anybody would not believe in the Golden Knights here. I really don't. They seem like the absolute complete package. Now they're captains on the ice, and Brossoit's hot. I just look. The Jets have burnt me in the playoffs in the last few years before. They have a veteran-laden squad, but man, I don't know how anybody wouldn't want the Knights here in game 1. And I'm trying so hard not to move on game 1s of the series, but I think there's just an enormous amount of value on the Jets and the Knights. And if you were going to pick either of those two spots apart, you would have to pick apart the Devils because they've never been here. I don't know how you pick apart this Golden Knights squad. The only thing you could say about this is, it's their star player coming back. That's the only thing you could possibly say here. And I love that you got in on the under 6 early. I think that's a great look.
And I also got a good line on the first period under, which I won't be able to get now, but I'll make it official anyway. Winnipeg, Vegas, first period under 1.5, -110 current line at Caesars. Winnipeg, Vegas, first period under 1.5, -110. We'll make that an official play.
Some people could look at this Brossoit thing and say, they know, his weak spots. I disagree. I think this is his chance to show them what they could have had, what they didn't want. I think this is a huge opportunity, and he's never been more confident in his entire career. I guess, I can talk myself off of the spot on New Jersey, but I can't talk myself off of the spot on Vegas. So I'm taking Vegas on the -1 line. That'll be my only spot in NHL tonight.
Okay.
Viper going to tell you on
Jimmy, I just checked Bet Online, and Toronto -1 is +108, so I'll take that. +108.
You got it.
Thank you.
You got it. +108 on the -1 line. I got to take Vegas here. I have to. Look, the Jets are a veteran-laden squad that can handle this arena going bonkers. They can handle all this, but they're just not good enough. So there we go. So we are locked in on that one. That's my first spot. I'm on Vegas on the -1 line. Give me a plus money line. Top Crocodile wants to know what the cash is. I try not to care in NHL, but let's take a look at it here for you. The Jets have all the big bets. So 36% of the tickets and 74% of the cash are on the Winnipeg Jets. And look, if the market was something that really concerned me, Ski Profit thinking about going to the game tonight. It's going to be madhouse there. It's going to be a madhouse. If I was focusing on the market like I do in other sports, I wouldn't bet Vegas here, but I'm betting them here, Pete. Let's roll on to the final game on the card, 10 p.m. Eastern, Kraken Avalanche.
Okay, Kraken the Avs. This one, my note on this one is careful. Your approach to NHL game ones, I am in agreement with you as far as this series is concerned. Obviously, Colorado has a huge edge, and probably I'm going to check the series odds here, and maybe I'll throw something on Colorado to win the series or minus 1.5 games or something like that. Game one here, though, I'm not exact. I mean, obviously, Colorado is a stronger team. They're a huge favorite for a reason, and this is also another game where I did not take any shots with unders first period or full game. Not sure what to expect from the game plans here, but wouldn't it all be surprised if Colorado explodes offensively here in game one? So, just leaning Colorado for the series. Not sure what to make of game one, though, and definitely not taking any game one unders here, as I tend to do in NHL series.
This opened up -180. It's now -198 for the Avs. From a total perspective, this opened up at 6, -107 as a pick'em. There's been a very slight move to the over, a move that I agree with, a move that I'm probably interested in betting. We have two goaltenders here, Grubauer and Georgiev, who are both vulnerable. There have been times when I thought Grubauer could be the real deal. He won the Memorial Cup, right, with Windsor. He was part of that Capitals team that went all the way, but I just can't trust him. And Georgiev, we haven't seen him do it, though. I think he's more than capable of stepping up. So here we go. Avalanche trying to be back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, and it's very, very exciting. No Gabriel Landeskog. Without him, they're not going to win the Stanley Cup. They finished very strong. They won 7 of 8 games down the stretch. The only loss was in overtime to the Oilers. McKinnon and Rantanen, 111, 105 respectively. It's the first time they've had two players do that in the same season since Forsberg and Sakic in 95-96. Makar says that he's is close to 100% as he can be. So, he was resting near the end of the season. He was the MVP of last year's playoffs. And at this point in the amount of games he's played, no defenseman has ever scored more points than Makar. He scored more than Bobby Orr. This guy is phenomenal. He had 8 goals and 21 assists in the Cup run last year. And look, this Kraken team has no pressure on them. They have players who've been in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They have 3 players who've won Cups, 4, because Gord, Schultz, Vince Dunn, and Jaden Schwartz. And, 2 goaltenders that have won Cups, and Grubauer and Martin Jones. Eberle has 62 career playoff games under their belt. So, look, this is a Seattle team with no pressure, with players who've done it before. I think the over is live in this game. I think the overs are going to be live all series long. I don't see how we don't bet the over here, even though all these games have been going under. The only concern would be, are the Kraken going to be completely shut down like the Vegas Knights shut them down? I don't know. That's the question I have to ask. But I really think there's going to be goals in the series. The fact that you are concerned about the taking an under tells me even more that the overs are live here. And you have a McKinnon who's already said, "Oh man, we're in trouble without Landeskog." He's already publicly said it. You have a Kraken team with absolutely no pressure on them whatsoever. I was a little disappointed in those last 2 games against Vegas. They sure showed those were playoff type games, and they sure showed that they weren't quite ready for it. But look, I can't wait to watch this series. I can't wait to watch all these series. And Brady says Kraken are very live here. I think they're going to be goals. I feel like, when we talk about not wanting to do something, and then you have the conviction to turn around and do it. And I think that I have the conviction to to possibly move on the Devils -1. I will move on the Vegas Knights -1, and I don't see how I don't move on the over 6 in this hockey game, Pete. And this could be such a high-scoring first-round series that we don't see sixes as this move forward. It's possible.
Yeah, I didn't take the under. I didn't take the over, though. You know what I mean? I want to pull the trigger on Colorado -1, but I think I'll hold off. It's just you just expect the unexpected. I mean, Seattle is definitely a legit talented offensive team, aren't they?
They are. McCann was the Corsi darling of the entire hockey league. Of course, Ron Francis, who was also spectacular Corsi player himself, a phenomenal player. He understood McCann's value, and it took a year for us to see it. Well, it's taken 10 years. He moved all over the place. That line that he's on with Beniers, who's going to be a huge star in this league, and Beniers and Eberle. I mean, you have Eberle, a guy who's done everything. I mean, Eberle scored game-winning goals in the World Juniors, tournament-winning goals in the World Juniors. I mean, I can't wait to watch this. So that is our NHL breakdown for today. Are you moving on this Kraken Avs game?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to maybe I'm seeing a bet online over 5.5 games in the Rangers Devils. I feel like that might be a bet at -210. That might be a better bet than the series going 7. But I don't know. I think I'm going to adjust my bet that way as well. Go ahead.
I still don't know if I can pull the trigger on the Devils, and as Sharpie was imploring me to do what worked last year so well.
Right. Okay, that's it for NHL.
But let's review. Loshak's on the Leafs -1 at +108. He's on the Rangers Devils to go 7. He is. We have Ron Crawford, NHL spreadsheet play days, Toronto in regulation. Loshak's on Winnipeg, Vegas first period under 1.5. Vegas -1 is, we'll know right away. One of the fun things about hockey is you can tell, like with Vanacek's the easiest, I think, almost in the league, but you can tell if a goalie's on right away. And we'll know right away with Brissois. And then the over 6 in Seattle, Colorado. There we go. That's going to be a spot that I'm going to move on the over 6. Stacey King looking at Kraken money line. You're going to get a big plus price for that, Stacey. I'll be cheering for you. I apologize, Stacey, for the anger I was seething on the Sunday night live stream show. And even Will Produce Booze, now a member. It's just, it was a second straight losing Sunday night show for me, and I was in a bad place. So I apologize to you, Stacey. Good luck with your action. And let's move on to MLB, Pete.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't have enough time to give huge shout-outs and jokes and love in the beginning of the show, so I'll do it now. Just a huge, broad shout-out and love to everyone in the comments section. Really, really appreciate everything, and please let us know what you think about all these games. All right, we're moving on to MLB, Jim.
Yes, we are. Birdie says, good luck tonight, Pete. And Jimmy says, I will tell your Vegas bet. Posted my plays earlier in the chat. Thanks for talking these out. Stacey, you're a good man, and yeah, I just it's real. It's fucking real. That's all. It's just so real, and the importance of succeeding is so important. Like if I was to have 5 of those Sunday nights in a row, someone else will take over that show. I can't. I can't. I have young kids. I can't afford it. I need to succeed, and so thank you for being top notch, and thank you for being just a man about all that. So, and I apologize for my anger seeping through. Let's get to work, Pete, in MLB. It was a bad Friday for me, 2-4, and if it wasn't for the Rendon error in the 4th inning, it flips. It flips. I would have if that doesn't happen, it's a for sure a 4-2 day, and it could even be in a 5-1 day. So I'm losing, and it's up there for everybody to see. 19-23, 45.2%, minus 6.53 units. Pete, you've been spectacular to start the year off. Absolutely spectacular. You 10-4, 71.4%, plus 8.9 units. Your ROI is at 57.79%. Average line plus 121. But I didn't get hot last year when I finished the year up 28 units. I didn't get hot until the last 2 months of the season, really. So I just got to, believe in everything that we're doing here and and keep firing away and trusting the capping, and that's what I'll do. But I need a day today, and there's a lot of spots that really appeal to me, Pete. So let's get started, everybody. We move on to MLB. We've already heard from Hunter Engelhardt. He's on this first 5 Tigers money line at plus 120. Let's get to work here. We're in Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Let me just make sure I got the weather up. And here we go. Okay, so we have the Guardians 9-7, 7-3 on the road at the Detroit Tigers, 5-9, 2-3 at home. The Tigers, it's very cold in Detroit. It's very cold here in Toronto. Everything's flipped from what it was last week. 38 Fahrenheit, 13.5 miles per hour, right to left, right to the pole. Gets up to 14 miles per hour. So it's cold and windy. Will Purdue's boo. That was the first thing I saw, because I help with the YouTube streams and everything here, was that you had become a member. And, that thank you. Thank you for doing that. Maybe this will strengthen our relationship as we move forward, gabbing together. But you guys know that you're always welcome to fade me as much as possible. And all I'll do is I'll put out my action and I'll be honest about the tracking, and that's it. That's all I'll ever do. And I was pretty heavy in the sauce on Sunday night, and I was losing, and I was angry, and I shouldn't take it out on you guys. I should, not take it out on anyone. So I apologize. Okay, let's get to work here. Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. We have Hunter Gaddis versus Matthew Boyd. Is that being confirmed? Yes, it has been confirmed. Okay, perfect. We have the lineups in Matone, Green, Baez, Carpenter, Badu, Torkelson, Cabrera, McKinstry, and Haas for the Tigers. For the Tribe, Quan, Arias, Ramirez, Bell, Gonzalez, Jimenez, Zunino, Freeman, and Miles Straw for the Tribe. Let's take a look at the line history here for this. Again, it is blowing out, sideways, slightly out, sideways, slightly out, but it's blowing pretty heavy here. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Sorry, move over here, get over to MLB. And let's go here. Gaddis, Boyd. We've had a move towards Hunter Gaddis here in this spot. Oh, I take that back. Sorry, that was other offshores, because Pinnacle didn't open this up till 8:07 this morning. So since it opened, there has been a 5-cent move towards the Detroit Tigers. The Tribe's gone from minus 132 to minus 127. Really a 4-cent move to the Tigers, plus 122 to plus 118. Totals wise, it's opened up at 8.5 and has moved to 9. So we have a half-point move to 9. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot as well here before we watch Pete go to work. We have 47% of the tickets and 62% of the cash on the Detroit Tigers. From a total perspective, we have 75% of the tickets and 63% of the cash. We've seen it go up a half run here in this one. So Hunter Gaddis is a big boy. 6'6", 260. Came up last year after dominating in Double-A, and he couldn't do it. He looked awful. And then he's had one good start here, and then he went and played at home the Yankees, and the Yankees destroyed him. 3 innings, 8 hits, 8 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, and 2 walks. Going up against Matthew Boyd, who's had 2 strong starts to start the year. Now, he hasn't gone 5 innings in either of them. Matthew Boyd, 4 1/3, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 3 Ks, 3 walks, and 7-6 extra inning win at Houston. Second start, 4 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 Ks, 4 walks, and a 4-1 loss at home to the Red Sox. Those are 2 tough spots to pitch against teams that can hit. The Guardians aren't hitting lefties with any power. 254, 718. They're hitting lefties much better than they're hitting righties. Tigers versus righties, 209, 617 OPS. They're just not hitting at all. Guardians bullpen has been excellent. 3.23 ERA, 1.11 whip. Tigers bullpen is atrocious. A 5.46 ERA, 1.28 whip. Vipers on the Guardians -1 says Tigers bats weak and Guardians bomb on lefties. I mean, just a 718 OPS right now. Viper says Boyd will be smoked. I don't think he will be smoked. If the Astros can't smoke him in Houston, if the Red Sox can't smoke him, in Detroit, maybe that's a little tougher. Now Boyd's getting a second straight start here at home. I'm interested in the Tigers' first 5 with Hunter Engelhardt. And this isn't a fade of Gaddis. This is more, I believe Boyd can be okay here. Take it away, Pete. I can't wait to hear your breakdown. Take it away. Game 1, Guardians, Tigers. And we'll do game 2 right after.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, baseball is very, very tough, right? So, I think my opinions are worth listening to, but definitely not blindly tailing. I kind of like Cleveland here. I think that I kind of like the spot for Gaddis. Don't necessarily love the spot for Boyd. And, I don't want to talk you off of anything, Jimmy the Bag, but free play, I would take Cleveland first 3 and first 5. Maybe I'll give it officially. Don't necessarily love it. Most plays in baseball that I make, I don't necessarily love it. I would say 80% of the plays that I make in baseball, I like a teeny bit, which is enough to make them, but not enough to make me reveal them publicly with confidence. The lines are relatively close to being on. I know the line the total has gone up. I would have a slight lean to the under right now, and slight lean to Cleveland early. I think it's a slightly better spot for Gaddis than for Boyd, but I could be wrong on that. And if I'm right on it, I'm only slightly right. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, that can be enough to keep me off of this spot. I like Quinimus also on the Detroit first 5. What I don't want to do here is focus too much on that terrible start against the Yankees for Gaddis. This is just a much, much easier lineup to face, and there's no reason why, get him out to Comerica, get him on the road. He couldn't have a nice start here. The first 5 is at 4.5. The full game's at 9 because of the weakness of the Tigers bullpen. But I can stay off here if you have that lean towards Gaddis. There's no point going into that, especially with how you're running right now. So Hunter Engelhart on the Tigers first half money line. Quinimus on the Tigers first 5. Troy Torrance says when these two teams meet in Detroit, they go under.
Yeah, I'd be leaning under for sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's gone to 9. It's freezing cold.
Yeah. So. I would definitely be leaning and a first 3 under. Or I understand that if you look at the stats of these two guys, it's understandable why the total might get bet higher. But I'm an inch away from taking no score in the first, and an inch away from taking like a first 3 under. What I mean?
I do, and I kind of like it. Let's just see what I would get for the first 3 under here.
Actually, you know what? I'll take that. We can make that official. And it might lose, but it's okay. At Caesars, first 3 under, 2.5 minus 110. Cleveland, Detroit, first 3 under, 2.5 minus 110. Once again, I only like it a little bit, enough to bet, and enough to give publicly. Could easily lose. Easily lose.
Danielson says Gaddis been bad. Last start got hit up by the Yankees, but he had his first good start in the majors before that.
Yeah, both these starters in general are no great shakes.
Stimmy's on the under 9. I'd love to join you guys. It just doesn't all correlate enough for me. But
yeah, Jim, if I had kids, there's no way in hell I would bet that. Okay, just for a little perspective here. You know what I'm saying?
How different is Oakland's lineup from the Tigers lineup? Because obviously it's not the same type of a pitcher's park anymore now that the wall's been moved in. But here, just last 2 starts ago, he went 6 innings and allowed 1 hit on the road against a weak hitting team. So I certainly don't hate Boyd at home, but let's move on. Pete's on the board here. First 3 under, 2.5 minus 110. Let's move on. 4:40 p.m. Eastern, game 2, Guardians, Tigers. We're at Comerica. See what the change in weather, if there is a change in weather here for this one. I know you're hesitant to move on game 2s before you've seen.
Yeah, once in a while I would, but this one definitely not.
The only thing that it does is it warms up. It gets up to 43, 44, so it warms up a little bit. The wind's still blowing out at the same speed in this second game. Let's take a look at the line history here for this second game. Sorry, very quickly. We have Battenfield going up against Rodriguez. Rodriguez has looked quite good to start the year, and he looked very good against the Jays. This opened up with the Tribe minus 117. They're now minus 125. From a total perspective, it's opened up 8.5 minus 102 to the over. That's where it is. It's just at minus 102 to the over. And then here we have in the second game, 61% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the under. And we have 69% of tickets, 69% of cash on the Tribe, and it's moving in their direction.
All right, and shout out to Chili Dog Dooley in the comment section. I see you, pal. Chili Dog Dooley.
We have Peyton Battenfield in his second start here of this young career. First start, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, just 1 was earned, 3 Ks, no walks, and a 4-3 loss home to the Yankees. Rodriguez coming off that stellar start against the Jays, 6 innings, 7 hits, just 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 1 walk. We've already gone over the Guardians' numbers versus lefties. It's ticky-tack, but 254, 718, and the Tigers can't hit righties. Take it away for us, Pete. Anything for game 2 and anything you're looking for in game 1 that would move you on game 2?
Nah, not really. I'll see. Maybe after game 1, maybe I'll do something. But as of right now, no opinion. I mean, Battenfield is okay. He's one of those guys who doesn't have high velocity, and guys like that a lot of times will have a few good appearances when they first start in the majors, and then they get figured out. But no, nothing right now is on this game.
Let's move on to 4-10. Mike Wilkerson looking at rolling with Mali on the over 9 in that first game. Stimmy OG looking at the under 9 here. Okay, let's move on. Danielson says if guys can go 6-7, Cleveland will have their bullpen ready for the second game. We'll look at Cleveland then. And DC Capper, I'm looking forward to hear your action, my friend. Let's talk about game 1 here at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois. Philadelphia Phillies 6-10, 3-7 on the road at the White Sox, 6-10, 2-4 at home. BJ's locked in with a big bet here. Big bet. Oh, and the first game 1's now at 5, says Luke Murphy. So that's gone from the 4.5 to 5. A big bet for BJ on the Chicago Cubs. I look forward to discussing that spot. Another Stro Show opportunity here. 9:40 p.m. at Oakland against Waldachuk. I'm excited about that game. I'm excited about talking about that game. But let's stay here with game 1 at Guaranteed Rate Field. Do we have Wheeler and Lance Lynn confirmed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, beautiful. Perfect. Let's start with the weather in Chicago. 52 Fahrenheit, 6.6 miles per hour in. It's just slightly in at first, but then by the end of the game, it's fully in at 6.2 miles per hour. Let's go over to the cash flow here on this num. And Sharpie's named them Waldachuk. I forgot about that. Thank you for the reminder. Waldachuk there. Let's take a look at the cash for this one. So we have 72% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on the Philadelphia Phillies. 62 and 57 on the Phillies with Wheeler going up against Lynn. That's gone. The Phillies have gone from plus 108 to minus 117. That's a huge move towards the Philadelphia Phillies, Pete. And this only opened at 8 in this morning at Pinnacle. The total opening up at 8.5 has dropped 8. So we have a monster move towards Philadelphia. 72% of tickets, 67% of cash on them. And total-wise here, we have 63% of the tickets and 73% cash on the over, and it's dropped a half run.
Wait, Jim, I'm sorry. What are you seeing? On the overnight line, I saw plus 107 for the White Sox and now plus 110 at Heritage.
Okay, this was opened up this morning, unless they're posting this wrong. The White Sox were opened up at minus 117 at 8:08 this morning at Pinnacle.
Oh, I think that's wrong. Unless
really?
There was some. I'm just saying when I looked at this on the overnight line, Phillies was a small favor about where they are right now. But I don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the. I won't mention the site, but
Okay.
I'm just that's the day of it opening up at my. But you're right, because they're going. There looks like there's mistakes on this one, because now there's times where it was minus 123 and then bounced back to plus 106. Okay, so what did you have on the opening line?
Yeah, about where it is right now. Slight move to Philly overall. Almost imperceptible move to Philly overall.
Okay, that's very important. Thank you for clearing that up for us here. Let's go. So Zach Wheeler, 0-1, 4.02 ERA, 1.40 WHIP. Didn't have a great start to the year, but he looked excellent in his last start. 3-2 extra inning loss at home to the Marlins. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, and 3 walks. Viper says he's taking the Phillies' first 5 money line. Lance Lynn has looked bad this year. His last start was better. He has a 7.31 ERA, 1.63 WHIP on the year, but his last start, he went 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, 10 Ks, and no walks. Phillies first righties, 301, 847 OPS, but their bullpen, 6.83 ERA, 1.85 WHIP. White Sox, 255, 708 versus righties, same issue they've had in now the second year where they just have no power. And the bullpen has been absolutely abysmal. Worse than the league, 7.57 ERA, 1.99 WHIP. Hunter Engelhart says, I watch every out of Phillies baseball. But he's on Phillies first half minus a half. Says Phillies lineup weakness is slow stuff with lots of horizontal movement, and Lance doesn't have that pitch because I hate them right now, but too much value.
Win or lose, those are the friggin' kind of comments I love in the comment section. Shout out to you, Hunter Engelhart.
Take it away for us, Pistol Pete. Phillies, White Sox.
Yeah, I was thinking that way as well. I was going to take Philly first 3, first 5, something like that. Just assuming / betting on Wheeler to continue to be decent. Lynn, I'm not super down on, but a little down on him. And I like Philly. I was maybe thinking about White Sox team total under as well, but definitely thinking about Philly here, first 3 or first 5, or both.
Yeah, I agree. So if there's been no market move towards Philly, I don't quite understand why that would be.
Wheeler hasn't been that great so far. Lynn coming off of a 10 strikeout, no walk start.
Does that interest you in the under at all? Or do you think?
Yeah, I have a slight lean to the under on this one as well. And I was thinking about giving White Sox team total under as an official play. And yeah, you know what? I'll give Philly first 3 minus 120 as an official play. Philly first 3 minus 120. Current line at Caesars. We'll do that.
Loshak is on the Phillies.
First 3 minus 120 money line.
Yeah, I like that look. I get that look. I'm just gonna open up my Bet Online account and see what I would get for the White Sox first 5 team total under here.
Oh, it'd be a 1.5. It'll be a 1.5, which I don't really want to take.
No, I get it. I don't want to take that either. Okay. All right. Okay. I think the way the Phillies are hitting righties scares me. And I think Lance Lynn is better than his numbers indicate. The fact that the market isn't moving towards the Phillies is probably going to keep me off. DC Capper says, been helping my mom move into a condo for the past 4 days. Nice to get back to the show. Good to see you. Good to see you, DC, my man. And that's great that you helped out your mom. Good son. Good son. Billy Frieder says he trusts Lynn a lot more than Giolito. Hunter Engelhardt says, depressed Phillies fan here, and they're driving me crazy, but I can get plus 120 with Wheeler against Lynn. It might be the cheapest we see Wheeler in a while. I agree. I agree, but I'm going to stay off of this spot. Let's talk about game 2.
Plus 120? What would you say plus 120?
Yeah, because he's on -0.5.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to the next spot on the board here. Hunter Engelhardt doesn't bet anything higher than -105.
Mm-hmm.
That's his rule, and he does an excellent job. Next up for us, game 2, 7:40 p.m. in Phillies White Sox. We have Bailey Falter and Lucas Giolito going at it here. And then we get the White Sox first lefties is the only change. You have the Phillies smashing righties and the White Sox smashing lefties, 292, 858 OPS. Although we have seen Alex Wood shut them down. Or not quite shut them down, but, be much better than Lance Lynn. Bailey Falter in his last start was 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and a 6-2 loss at the Reds. That's when he went up against Lodolo, who's pitching today. Giolito in his last start was much better than 3-1 loss at the Twins. But he's been terrible this year. 6 ERA, 1.67 whip, but he went 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 2 walks. Let's take a look at the line history here for game 2 of the double dip, and then we'll have those double dips out of the way, and we can roll through the rest of the schedule. But we have the White Sox opening up. Again, this is all messed up because it has this huge move that probably didn't exist. It says that they opened up at plus 120 and are now minus 124. Is that possible, Pete, or is this another?
Which game? No, I didn't even look at this game too. I mean, I'll look at it after game 1, but no opinion. I mean, Giolito, unreliable, but can be decent. And kind of the same for Falter. So no opinion on game 2 for me at all.
The cash-wise right now, 20% of the tickets and 39% of the cash is on Falter. So public on the White Sox in game 2. I've got to check a different site if this is going to start messing with me here. From a total perspective on this one, 86% of the tickets, 83% of the cash on the over in game 2. All right, that is game 2. So we will take some time to see what happens in game 1 before we move on game 2. All right, those double dips are out of the way. Let's move on. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. San Francisco Giants 5-10, 3-6 on the road at the Miami Marlins, 9-8, 6-5 at home at Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida. Alex Wood, the aforementioned Alex Wood, going up against Edward Cabrera. Cabrera's walked a ton of batters, but I still really believe in the kid. Let's figure out the line history for this one. We have the Marlins opening up minus 105. They're now minus 107, a 2-cent move towards them. This total opened up at 7.5. It just moved to 8.5. So it'd been at 8 for a while. It moved to 8.5 about an hour and a half ago. Billy Friedrich's betting on Cabrera under 5.5 Ks at minus 110. Let's take a look at the cash flow. So we have a move to the over and a very slight move to the Marlins. When we look at the cash here, the move to the under is warranted. To the over. God, what am I talking about? It's moved to run to the over. 54% of the tickets, 76% cash on the under. But we've seen it move to the over a full run. And then we have 56% of tickets, 70% of cash on the Marlins. Books don't seem to be too concerned about that money on the Marlins. Woods made 2 starts. The first start was against the White Sox. They rake lefties. It was a travel day, and he shut them down. It was only 3 innings, and I shouldn't say he shut them down. I guess the offense just destroyed Lynn. It didn't matter. 6 hits, 3 runs, only one was earned in that 16-6 win. And then his next start was spectacular at home versus the Dodgers. 4 2/3, 1 hit, no runs, 5 Ks, 3 walks. Cabrera has a high whip and ERA, but 10 Ks and 14 walks. Hasn't allowed a homer yet, and this is going to be his 4th start. His last start was nice. 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, no homers, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-2 extra inning win at the Phillies. The Giants are hitting righties, and the Marlins are hitting lefties. So the Giants 263, 852 OPS versus righties. Marlins 304, 779 versus lefties, and both bullpens look bad, especially the Giants bullpen. 5.93 ERA, 1.46 whip. Marlins bullpen 4.27 ERA, 1.16 whip. Take it away here for us, Pistol Pete, Giants, Marlins.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Cabrera is fascinating, of course, because his walk and K numbers are awful, but his results are not bad. So I might think about. I kind of like Miami here, and maybe think about maybe live betting Miami after Cabrera's gone. Although Cabrera could also be lights out. A 7-inning shutout start would not be a surprise at all from him. So leaning Miami, but I think too much uncertainty and volatility here. I haven't bet it yet, and I probably won't. Leaning Miami, leaning under, but that's about it.
I'd like to take Miami first 5. I do not believe Alex Wood will be able to recreate the magic that he had in that last start. So I'd like to move on it. Troy Torrance is lined open at 8, juice to the under. It's since moved up a half. Pinnacle opened it up at 7.5. But I feel you. Joe Yeager says can't back San Francisco right now. Lineup is now weak sauce. Mally Malad says Alex would shut the Dodgers down. I don't see how he doesn't shut Miami down as well. That was a huge rivalry spot. I mean, is Alex Wood just going to be lights out here as we move forward? I find that difficult to believe.
Yeah, I mean, he's all right, but he's not. He's nothing special. No offense if he's watching. I'm not going to pull the trigger on it, but my lean is Miami.
Troy Torrance says, any thoughts on the over here? I mean, this would be like a patented second half over spot.
My number's like the under, but that could be totally wrong. I'm not doing well with totals this year so far.
Hunter Engelhardt says Miami's bottom 3 runs scored first 5 innings and average 0.67 runs over the last 3 games. Look, I want the Marlins here. I want the Marlins first 5, and the bullpen numbers are much better for Miami than San Francisco, but I still don't want to go to the second half of this game. I feel like Cabrera is going to pitch nice here at home, and I think Cabrera could be a bet on pitcher regardless of the 10K, 14 walks that he's showing thus far. That was a nice performance at Philadelphia, and let's watch the Giants hurt him here. So. All right, let's move on. So that's my first spot on the board. Marlins first 5 minus 110. Move on 6:40 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays 14-3, but just 4-3 on the road at the Cincinnati Reds 7-9 and 6-4 at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's take a look at the weather in Cincy for this one. We have 63 Fahrenheit, 9.7 miles per hour out to left center, and it dies down to 6. 63 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 58 after a couple hours. Let's go to the line history here for this one. Rays, Reds, Bradley, and Lodolo. We have the Reds opening up at plus 110. They're now plus 112. Very slight move to the Rays. From a total perspective, this opened up at 9. It's now at 9.5, juice to the under. And when we take a look at the cash flow for this one, we have 85% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on the Rays. A lot of money on the Rays in the market not really moving. Total wise here, it's 50-50, but we've seen the market move up a half run. Bradley coming off that first start of his career, it was decent. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, no homers, 8 Ks, 1 walk, and a 9-7 win at home versus the Red Sox. We cashed that first 5 over, but really wasn't because of Bradley's weakness. It was more Sale got touched. Lodolo looked good last start after looking very good the start before. 5 innings, 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 6 Ks, 2 walks, 6-2 win at home versus the Phillies. Now he gets the back-to-back home starts, situation that I like. 2-0, 2.12 ERA, 1.41 whip on the year. The Rays are hitting lefties hard, 298, 62. And the Reds are hitting righties. And this is a rare occurrence for us to talk about the Rays lineup actually hitting 257, 751 OPS. Rays bullpen 3.22 ERA, 1.12 WHIP, and the Reds bullpen much better than they were last year. 4.20 ERA, 1.4 WHIP, still below average, but much better. Take it away for us here, Pete. Rays, Reds.
Yeah, I think as of right now, I'm gonna have to pass on this one. Although maybe some information will come out later, and maybe some live movement will sway me. But Taj Bradley is a talented guy and playing for obviously an organization that knows how to develop people like him. But he's up earlier than they wanted him to be. He's only up because of injuries. His first start was good. I don't love taking guys coming up in their second starts after they had a pretty good first start. And Lodolo, excellent so far this year, but I don't really like, betting against Tampa Bay really at all right now until further notice. So it's going to be a pass for me. I'm vaguely high on both of these starters, but I don't really want to take a first 3 under here, and I'm going to have to pass.
Ski profit. With all this money on the Rays and the market line not moving, it doesn't pique your interest on Lodolo here, or the Rays are just that dangerous against lefties?
See, look at that. The Ski Profit knows how to have fun in this sports betting game. And shout out to Paco Healy. What's up, Paco Healy? Sorry, what was your question, Jim?
With all this cash on the Rays and the line not moving at all, does that not pique your interest on Lodolo?
It's moved a little bit since what I saw on the overnight line. It's moved about 10 cents. Yeah, I mean, it's just this is a tough game, Jimmy the Bag. Sports betting is tough. So I like to bet in spots where there's like multiple factors sort of pointing in the same direction. And I just don't want to bet on Tampa Bay with a young phenom making his second start after having made a good first start. Don't want to bet, against Lodolo though. So I just can't, all of it. I'm just going to pass. I'm sorry, Jim. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I feel like, look, we know that that Taj
blind bet. If you gave me a blind bet right now, I'd throw it on the first 3 under, and if it lost, if you gave me a free bet, I'd throw it on the first 3 under, and if it lost, I'd be like, it was a free bet, so it's fine that it lost. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Taj Bradley, I want to see him pitch on the road. He looked fine at home, but now let's get him out on the road. And, I would like to back Lodolo and the Reds first 5 here, and I think that I will. Dabby Cab in the house. Mike Wilkerson looking at a lot of overs here. Ron Lofton says he sees 12 runs at least. I feel like the Reds and Lodolo. Well, very quickly, do you feel like Lodolo is the real article here? Do you believe?
Oh, yeah, but Tampa Bay is a little bit of a different animal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'd bet on if he was going up against some like shitty organization like whatever Detroit or whatever, I'd take maybe a first 5 team total under or something. But it's just it's very uncomfortable to bet against Tampa Bay in any capacity.
If I forced you to bet on the Reds, you had to bet on the Reds. Would you, if I forced you to, would you take them first 3 or first 5?
Oh, I would take. That's a good question. I guess I would take first 3.
Okay. All right. I've got to figure that out a little bit more, but that's what I've written here is Reds first 3 at this point. Rather just cut it down to Lodolo, getting through that lineup once, and hopefully Taj having a bit of struggle here on the road. Just before we move on, I'd like to see that last start from Taj just very, very, very quickly, and we'll move right on. Because next up we have, I believe, Angels, Yankees, which will be a fun one. Let's just go to that Taj Bradley start here very quickly.
That was nice. He got his Ks, he got his strikeouts, everything.
Yeah, 8 Ks and 1 walk. And he didn't get touched till the 4th and the 5th.
And Sharpie saying he likes the Bradley strikeout props over that I don't mind. I could see it being one of those starts where he's like, just a typical like sophomore slump type start where he, maybe is a little bit off even in the first inning, and but then picks it up and doesn't have a great start overall, but still gets 5 strikeouts. I like that, Sharpie.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go first 5, and I know that I'm probably putting too much attention onto that first start, but just like Hunter's saying, it was the second time through the order that he got. So I'm going to do that. Joe, you're saying first three is likely a push. And great. I love Sharpie sharing his action with us. Again, the star of the Balking Dead today at 3:10 p.m. This is a bet that he does not have on his show, and that's Taj Bradley over 4.5 and 5.5 strikeouts, minus 140 and plus 120, respectively. Thank you for sharing that with us. Sharpie, my guy. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board, 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Angels, 8-8, 5-5 on the road. New York Yankees, 10-6, 6-4 at home at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Take a look at the line or the weather in the Bronx here. We have 51 Fahrenheit and 13.9 miles per hour out to center. 13.9 goes down to 10.7, but we have double-digit wind out to center. Jose Suarez, who's looked awful this year, and Clark Schmidt, whom I don't trust. So that's what we are looking at this point. Let's take a look at the line history. Then we'll get into the cash flow, and then we'll hear what Pete has to say about this spot. The Yankees opening up at minus 132. They're now minus 142. These are pinnacle openers. Opened yesterday at 3:14 p.m. This total opened up at 9, minus 114 to the under. It's now plus 102 to the under. So we've had a 16-cent move to the over. Clark Schmidt looked a little better, I guess, at the Guardians last out, but he's not looked good this year. Wow, Leafs call up Shalgren as emergency backup goalie, so Wall must be sick, I guess, Brian? Wow. Clark Schmidt, 8.44 ERA, 1.97 whip. He's looked bad, allowed 3 home runs, but last start, 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. He looked better. Suarez has looked bad. His first start was 11-2 loss at the Mariners, 4 1/3, 6 earned runs, 2 homers, 8 hits. 4 Ks, no walks. Then he lost at home to the weak-hitting Nationals, 4 innings, 10 hits, 4 earned runs. I mean, I don't know how he can be trusted here, but the Yankees aren't hitting lefties. 192, 602 OPS thus far. They're just not hitting them. Angels versus righties, they're not hitting them either. 225, 673 OPS. And both bullpens have been very good. But the wind is blowing out. I'm very interested in your take here. Take it away for us. Jake Burns says, how is this not a first 5 over? Well, the Yankees aren't hitting lefties and the Angels aren't hitting righties. But that's about it. Let's hear what Pete has to say. Angels, Yankees.
Yeah, I took a few shots early, just, nothing crazy, just standard bets. Run to score in the first inning, yes, and the first 3 over. I think both these starters are vulnerable as well, and their numbers against righties and lefties I'm okay with. I think I might make a run in the first inning at minus 125. Current line at Caesars in official play. I'm shopping around a little bit to see if I can get something a little bit better. But I like first inning, first 3, and first 5 overs. All those I think are okay. Again, most of the bets that I make in MLB, I like just a little bit. So, and you can make a very strong argument in the other direction. Mm-hmm. And my excellence so far in MLB is a sample size of 14, which is almost irrelevant. Most math nerds would say.
Are you moving on the first 3 over as well?
I don't know, but I'll definitely take a run in the first inning, yes, at minus 125. That's current line at Caesars. Angels, Yanks, run in first, yes, minus 125. And I got to think about that first 3 innings line. But yeah.
93% of the tickets and 98% of the cash is on the over.
Yeah.
And then we have 88% of tickets and 94% of the cash on the Yankees. It's a lot of money on the Yankees and a lot of money on the over. Wow, that doesn't appeal to me. And again, these bullpens have been very good. I mean, that's why you're focusing on early and not late, right, Pete?
No, I'm focusing early because both of these starters are fucking shitty.
But so you don't really trust the Angels and Yankees bullpens at this point.
Let me see. You want me honest that? No, I do kind of like the Yanks bullpen. I have the Yanks bullpen as rated significantly higher than the Angels.
The Yanks bullpen is top 5. I agree with that. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Baltimore Orioles at Washington Nationals is the next spot for us. And we arrive at the spreadsheet play of the day. The spreadsheet play of the day right now, Ron Crawford asked me to track it, and I've been doing it, and I think it's wonderful that Ron wants that. 4-4 at this point, hitting at 50%, plus 0.23 units, an ROI plus 2.88%, and an average line of plus 104. The spreadsheet play of the day today, move over, is Baltimore Orioles on the -1 line. He is moving on the Orioles on the -1 line. And shout out to our very own Ron Crawford. Orioles 9-7, 5-4 on the road at Washington. Nationals 5-11, 2-7 at home. Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. Let's take a look at the weather here for this one. Oh, here we go. 64 Fahrenheit, 11.8 miles per hour, left to right, very slightly out, and then it becomes slightly in, and then so it's basically just left to right. 11.8 gets down to 7.5. Take a look at the line history here for this one. Kramer versus Josiah Gray. We have it opening up with the Orioles -134. They're now -142. So we have an 8-cent move towards the Baltimore Orioles at Pinnacle. This total opened up at 9.5 and has dropped to 9. So the market kind of indicating that they believe in Kramer to have a good start, even though if you're using the eye test, he has looked atrocious. We have 68% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on the Orioles. So, market moving slightly towards them and the money on them, the big bets on them. 76% of the tickets and 83% of the cash on the under. 76 and 83 on the under, and we've seen this total go from 9.5 to 9. Kramer, his last start against the A's at home was bad. I mean, he's just been bad. He had a great year last year, surprisingly good year, and this year he's not looked good through 12 1/3. 8 Ks, 6 walks, 5 homers, 1.78 whip, 9.49 ERA. Against the light-hitting A's, he went 4 1/3, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 homers, 1 K, 2 walks, and 8-4 loss. Josiah Gray coming off a 2-0 loss at the Angels, where he pitched well, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 2 walks. He's looked good so far this year, even though he's 0-3. 13 Ks, 5 walks, has allowed 4 home runs in just 16 2/3, which may be a problem against this O's team that can hit hard. O's rating 254, 778 versus righties thus far. Nats just 224, 613. The O's bullpen has been good, 3.56 ERA, 1.22 whip, and the Nats bullpen being a little better than expected, 4.32 ERA, 1.29 whip. Take it away for us here, Pistol Pete Loshak, Orioles, Nats.
Yeah, this is a tough one. It's always interesting when a game that's just like, I'm not sure, pass, winds up being a spreadsheet play of the day. So he likes Baltimore, huh?
Yes, he's on Baltimore on the -1 line.
Yeah, I mean, I was leaning Washington and under, but again, this is a pass. I definitely haven't bet it. Kramer definitely, yes, he's gotten hit hard in all of his starts this year, but he's just been giving up home runs, and it's not unthinkable that some kind of adjustment will be made to fix that. And Gray is not great, but not bad. Kind of a high total. So I was thinking about a sneaky play in the under. Definitely didn't bet it. My main note on this one is probably best to pass. In general, Baltimore is a good team that I'm looking to bet on, and Washington is a bad team that I'm looking to fade. But, so I definitely didn't bet it, but my lean initially was Washington in the under.
Hunter Engelhardt says this will be a good test for Gray with the free swinging O's. Says not on this, but plan to see how Gray does against this type of free swinging team. Sharpie says, what's wrong with Josiah Gray? Says averaging 3.5 strikes a game, has had an issue with first pitch strikes. Hunter Engelhardt says O's are hitting 442 on the first pitch, and Josiah is getting hammered at 429 on the first pitch. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is a no move for me either. But Ron Crawford, MLB spreadsheet play of the day on the Orioles at -1. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, and it is the Minnesota Twins 10-6, 6-4 on the road. The Boston Red Sox 8-9, 5-5 at home. Talking about the Boston Red Sox, we're talking about Fenway Park in Boston, which means we are going to bring on the star of Say Hey plays of the day, who knows this Boston Red Sox team inside and out. Please welcome to the show, Jose Bouquet, everybody. Jose, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing all right. Survived a weekend of my entire family being in town. That was very interesting. Of course, it was a classic family weekend. Jim, I'm sure you can relate. I leave a restaurant early, and then I get wind of my sister dramatically storming out because my brother made fun of her, and it's a great time. And shout out to my brother who's 40 now, and my sister who's 39. Great weekend.
Wonderful.
Hey, do you mind if I need to do something for a second? I'll be right back in about 30 seconds, okay?
Sure. Hopefully we don't hear the sound of a panther when he returns.
Yeah, it was hilarious
Let's get to work here. Jose Bouquet, your Red Sox in play at Fenway Park.
You sound a little disturbed, Jimmy.
I am a little angry. My winning, I had hit it 4 of the last 5 weeks and was up over 20 units in that span and was down 2 units last week, and then got hammered badly on this Sunday night show for the second week in a row. And, Kentucky Derby coming up in 3 weeks. And, we talk about the stakes being high, and they are high. And so I've got to succeed here. So I felt the stress last night for the first time in a while. I was capping the card, and I could feel the stress kind of, peeking its head in.
Sweaty palms?
Yeah, I was. No, not sweaty palms. I'm just. I'm concerned right now. The need to succeed is very high, and I'm concerned. Let's talk about Twinkies Red Sox here at Fenway. We'll start with the weather in this one. 52 Fahrenheit, 9.4 miles per hour to right center. It dies down to 7. There's Turnsey in the house. Great to see you, Turnsey. Lou Chase Fox ready to get to work. Mr. Eats says Sonny Gray under 15.5 outs for him. He says gonna be sweaty. Dabby Cap says heavy lean on the Twins. Just confused why the price is so good. Let's talk about this spot. Sonny Gray going up against Chris Sale. First, we will start with the line history of this one. We have Boston opening up -101. They're now -105. 4-cent move towards them. From a total standpoint, opened up at 9, is now at 8.5, but it's heavily juiced to the over at this number. So I'm sure you can still find 9s. Nice job, KD, catching on the air and Fox under 27.5 points. That was beautiful. Cash-wise here for Twinkies Red Sox, we do have a lot of money on the under. 72% of the tickets, 88% of the cash.
Wow.
Expecting a nice pitching performance. Also, both bullpens have been, pretty good. From a cash flow perspective, 65% of the tickets and 83% of cash is on the Minnesota Twins. And yet the market is moving slightly towards the Red Sox. I feel like that Dabby Cab has every right to feel some trepidation here with that market. Let's bring Pistol Pete back in action here for us. Sonny Gray, 2-0, 0.53 ERA, 1 whip. 19 Ks in 17 innings, 7 walks. Hasn't allowed a home run yet. Looks very good. Last start at home versus White Sox. Didn't allow an earned run. Went 5. Chris Sale has not looked very good. We cashed that first 5 over very easily in his last start. 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of which were earned. 1 homer, 6 Ks, 2 walks. In 9-7 loss at Tampa. 11.25 ERA, 2.08 whip to start the year. He's allowed 5 home runs in 12 innings. But the Twins don't hit lefties. 218 with a 683 OPS to start the year. Red Sox are struggling against righties. 231, 719 OPS. Both bullpens have been very good. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquet, Twinkies, Red Sox.
Pretty surprised to see all that money on the under here, because honestly, I didn't want to overcomplicate this. I've obviously struggled so far this season, and I've been kind of feel like I've been on the bad side of just unlucky things. I had 3 1-0 losses the other day, not yesterday, but the day before. That was sickening. So it feels like my momentum's going to shift, and I'm going to try to bet something that maybe I don't bet all too often, but it kind of just makes sense. First 5 over here. Sonny Gray has never pitched well against the Red Sox. I've never seen him once go against the Red Sox and pitch well. His career ERA at Fenway Park is an 8, 0-4 against, or 0-4 at Fenway, 1-7 against the Red Sox in his career with a 6 ERA. He pitched against them last year. I think he got hurt in the start because he went 1 2/3 and came out. I think I remember that correctly, but just historically not been good. And Chris Sale, I think, has the highest ERA among qualified starters. So just first 5 over here. Didn't want to overcomplicate it. Both teams are hitting – well, I would say both teams are hitting them okay, but they're both 19th against lefties and righties. 95 weighted runs created plus for the Red Sox and 92 weighted runs created plus for the Minnesota Twins. So, honestly, I'm almost on the first 5 over here.
First 5 over. Did you already tweet that out?
No, so we can line shop and such. I'm going to refresh my weather sites as well because obviously weather a big factor in these games too. And it was a little wet in Boston yesterday. So, but it does have wind blowing out to center. So Yeah, it's not that much, 9 to 7 mile an hour winds going down to 6 throughout the game. But yeah, I just don't think that both of these offenses can be held down by these pitchers. And that's why I bet first five too, because I do believe in the bullpen.
Sonny Gray has faced the Red Sox for an inning and 2/3 over his last 4 seasons.
Yeah. When he pitched against the Yankees, he sucked against them. And then when he pitched against them last year, I think he got hurt. So I still believe in the full season or the full career stats. Even though, he hasn't pitched there in a while.
Yeah, we got to go back to 2018.
Yep.
For the start before that. There's Nasty Nate in the house. As windy as hell here today. I lean the opposite. I lean to the under in this spot, but I'm not sure. Let's hear Pistol Pete's breakdown. Twinkies, Red Sox, Pete, take it away.
Yeah, I know that he's struggled at Fenway, which is, a bit concerning, but as you said, Jimmy the Bag, that was from many years ago. This is just one of those things where it's probably, I understand that we're going to be, Chris Sale's been terrible this year, so all the sharps are now all over him. Look, I don't know, man. I can't not take Minnesota first 3 at the current line. It might be a sucker play, as I've said. I'm happy with what I've done in my career with baseball handicapping, but I'm often on the wrong side. Far from always right or always know what I'm talking about. I can't not take Minnesota first 3 here. If it wins and I don't take it, I'll just be like, what the hell am I doing in this gambling business? So Minnesota Twins first 3 innings, money line -115, current line at Caesars. If it loses, I will be okay with it at that line.
Twins first 3 at -115 for Pete. Let's grab the first 5 under here for Jose. I'm going to move on this under. I'm just not sure exactly how to do it. What are your expectations? Have you gone over Chris Sale's velocity and all of that stuff?
It's all been fine. He just not. There's just zero command. Just doesn't know where the hell he's going with all these pitches, unfortunately. Maybe he just has to keep pitching to get his feel back and the command back. But velocity's all been fine. It's just who the fuck knows what's being thrown for a strike and where it's going when it's being thrown for a strike.
So we can get you an over 4.5 at -113.
Well, Bet Online is -110. So there we go. Beautiful. That's what I'm going to bet.
You have got it. So Loshak is on the Twins first 3 -115. Then we have the Jose is on the first 5 over 4.5 at -110. And Joe Yerv says, for how good Gray has been, how bad Sale's been, you got to take the Twins some way at this price.
It is weird that it's -110 each way, and the Red Sox were -110 basically every game against the Angels too, as well.
Sharpie says, when I listen to him talk after the game, he expects himself to be better than the crap he's been. His words say nothing is wrong, just me sucking. I want unders in this game. It's cold. You have 2 pitchers that. I do not fear the Twins against any lefty. Look, I think it might have been a great trade to rise for Pablo Lopez, but now you don't have, the highest batting average in the league leading off, and he was so great against lefties.
Very good trade there.
Sorry, my man. What was that?
It was a very good trade. Win-win. It's a rare win-win trade.
And Pete, what is keeping you off of unders in this game?
Of unders? Well, I'm not a believer in Sale right now, and Sonny Gray, I'm a believer in general. But even though it's been a while since he's been against Fenway, and this is maybe not the same Boston team, Fenway is a very pitcher-friendly, hitter-friendly park. Sorry, in many cases, I know it's going to be cold there, but I just. I'm holding off of it right now. And in general, I'm looking at overs for Boston in general this year. So, just sticking with Minnesota first 3, and if it loses, I'll be all right with that.
I am interested in the under. Very, very interested. I'm not sure what to do with it here. Jose on the first 5 over probably should not be a double up spot then for me. So I'm going to need more time. I love what the Twins bullpen has done, and the Red Sox.
I do have Minnesota rated top 5 bullpen, and Boston I have middle of the pack as well. Bullpen.
Okay. I'm going to have to make these decisions on how I'm going to handle it later. Jose's on the first 5 over 4.5 at -110. Loshak's on the Twins first 3 at -115, and I will be on the under in some fashion. I just haven't figured that out. Jose, say hey play of the day is coming up a little later with the Cubs. Jose, thank you for dropping by with your Red Sox breakdown. Very, very helpful for us. And the Bruins looked great last night. And my playoff pool is winner takes all, and I've got 9 Bruins. So basically, I have now a $700 win bet on the Bruins. So
hey, we're on the same side then. How lovely! And by the way, I have a surprise for Pete later on in the show.
Very exciting.
Oh, really?
You have piqued his interest.
Not yet.
There is DJ.
I hope it's like a cool shirt or something.
DJ Big Boss in the house.
Hell yeah! Shout out Big Boss.
Let's move on to the next spot on the board for 7:40 p.m. Eastern. Texas Rangers 10-6.
I'm going to switch hats for a second, Jim. All right.
Go do it. Yeah. Kansas City Royals 4-13, 1-10 at home. Kansas City Royals was an absolute debacle for me on Friday. The market was. I got in early on the Royals. Market was moving heavily in their direction, and it was just atrocious, absolutely atrocious. And I doubled up first 3 and first 5. Awful. Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Nate Eovaldi going up against Helen Brad Keller. Nathan Eovaldi 1-2 with a 6.32 ERA, a 1.53 WHIP, 15 and 2/3, 19 Ks, 3 walks, 1 homer. Last start was very bad, and it was against Keller. And look, I was on this. The loss with Singer on Friday stung, but we were on the Royals first 5 in this last matchup, and Eovaldi got touched, and Keller looked great. Keller 2-1, 2.12 ERA, 1.12 WHIP. Yeah, man. I hear you, Sharpie. I absolutely hear you, and that's part of the reason why I took their under win total. I thought it was a terrible signing. But let's move on. Rangers versus righties, 243, 739 OPS. Royals are just not hitting. 206, 589 OPS versus righties. Rangers bullpen being very good. 2.98 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. Troy Torrance says, I can't believe the public is on the Royals. Hunter Engelhardt's on the first half under 4.5. Says Eovaldi history has shown after a bad start, he isn't shook facing the same team. Let's take a look at the weather in Kansas City, the line history, and then hand it over to Pistol Pete Loshak. First off, weather-wise, 80 Fahrenheit, warm in Kansas, 13.7 miles per hour out to right field. So it's a pitcher's park, but offensive weather. Then for a line history here for Eovaldi versus Keller, we have the Rangers opening up -117. They're now -120. A 3-cent move towards the Rangers. Totals-wise, this move opened up at 8.5, and it's now at 9. 8.5 now at 9. Cash-wise here, we have 25% of the tickets and 45% of the cash on the under. 25 and 45, and yet this has gone a half run up. Cash-wise here in this spot, we have 50% of tickets, 52% of the cash on the Royals. So the very little line movement and, very little market movement. But it is 50% and 52 on the Kansas City Royals. Take it away for us here, Pete. Kauffman Stadium, Rangers, Royals.
Yeah, this is a kind of a tough one. KC, they're just not a good team, and I don't really. At some point, they will probably have some. Although who knows? 2023, who knows? I'm not going to make any predictions further than 2 days into the future. But the line's just not big enough for me to pull the trigger on KC. Normally, if this is +160, yeah, I'd be all over KC. At +110 or whatever, can't do it. And vague lean to the under for sure. But also not going to make that official either. We're being very careful, Jimmy the Bag. We want to try to have winners only. And I guess it's going to be a pass, but slightly into the, under, maybe a first 3 under.
DJ Big Boss looking at the Texas Rangers. Hunter Engelhardt is on that first half under, as I mentioned. Bankroll Spence is on Royals team total under. I am also don't find this an appealing spot to move on. So let's keep rolling. Next up for us, 7:45 p.m. Eastern. Arizona Diamondbacks 10-7, 5-5 on the road at St. Louis Cardinals, 7-10, 4-7 at home. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri. We already saw the weather nice in Kansas. It's going to be nice here as well. Let's pull it up Where's that? Oh, here we go. So in St. Louis, 74 Fahrenheit, a little cooler than it is in Kansas City. 5.8 miles per hour in, stays between 5.8 and 5.9 throughout the day. We'll go over to the cash flow in Dre Jameson versus Montgomery. We have the Cards opening up minus 158. They're now minus 167. Total wise, this opened up at 8.5. Juice to the under. It's now 8, so it's dropped a half run. So we have a half run move to the under. And then we have a 9-cent move to the Cardinals. Let's go over to the cash flow here on this one, Arizona, St. Louis. 42% of the tickets and 70% of the cash is on the Diamondbacks, but the market moving in the opposite direction. Totals wise, we have 80% of tickets, 83% of cash on the under, and the market has moved a half run to the under. Dre Jameson, coming off his first start, had been out of the bullpen, looks really good. 2-0, 1.46 ERA, 1.05 whip thus far. His last start at home versus the Brewers, he went 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 4 Ks. And Jordan Montgomery looks excellent to start the year. 2-1, 2.45 ERA, 1.09 whip, 17 Ks and 18 in the third, 5 walks, and no homers allowed. His last start was at home versus Pittsburgh, so he's got back-to-back home starts. He looked good in that start, 6 in the third, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks. The Diamondbacks have no power against lefties to start the year. 259 average and 695 OPS. Cards versus righties 265, 748 OPS. The Diamondbacks bullpen has been a little untrustworthy. 4.63 ERA, 1.34. I said that they're both in the Missouri run. That's why I said the weather would be similar. Cards bullpen 3.52 ERA, 1.26 whip. Sharpie says Arizona numbers versus left-handed pitching is worse than they actually are. Says any number 1 or 2 starters shut them down the first time through. Kershaw, Urias, and Rogers. And DJ Big Boss has a small wager on the Nerfy. Luchase Fox says Diamondbacks again. Cards are cold right now. Ron Lofton says, I get the Diamondbacks plus 140-ish again today. I'll take it again. Says cards don't scare me at the moment. Take it away for us here. Pistol Pete, Loshak, Arizona, St. Louis.
Yeah, I kind of I've been on Arizona as an undervalued team so far this year and generally done well with them. I will make one official play to start. Maybe I'll add some others on this game, but I will add on first 3 under 2.5 minus 125. Current line at Caesars. First 3 under 2.5 minus 125. Again, it could lose, but that's not a big line. Jameson's been excellent so far in short appearances this year. Montgomery's been excellent, and Arizona is a team that can manufacture runs, but they can probably be held down early. First 3 under 2.5 minus 125. And of course, I would also be leaning, first 5 and full game unders as well. And would not disagree with a no run in the first inning either. And I think that Arizona is a little bit too big of a dog here, as they have been oftentimes this year.
I like that first 3 under 2.5 as well. Sharpie liking it very much as well. I like where you're at here. I think that makes perfect sense. It's 10 cents more for me at Bet365, but I'll see what it is at with my BetOnline account.
And I don't love it, but I will say if I did have kids, Jimmy the Bag, I would still make this bet.
Yeah, I like this look. I like this look a lot because we know that Jameson's not going to go deep and just can't trust that Diamondbacks bullpen. I like it. I think that's a great look as well. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board, and it is the Blue Jays in play. 8:10 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Blue Jays 10-7, 6-5 on the road. Houston Astros 8-9, 5-6 at home. Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. If I didn't care about the market, I would have lost on the under yesterday. But it was clear that the sharp action was on the over in that game, and it initially moved to 8.5 right off the hop, and then back to 8, and that kept me off, and I was thankful for it. What do we do here? Chris Bassett versus Jose Urquidy. Let's take a look at the line history for this one. Jays, Astros. We have the Astros opening up at minus 103. They're now minus 109. 6 cents in their direction. Total-wise, it's opened up at 9, and there's been a 5-cent move to the over. A 5-cent move to the over. And let's move over to the cash flow for this one. We have 75% of the tickets and 73% of the cash on that over. 75 and 73, but it's only moved 5 cents in that direction. Money line wise, 63% of the tickets, 65% of cash on the Astros, and the market's moved in that direction. So Spency Spenny is on the Vladdy homer. He's batting 417, 12 plate appearances versus Urquidy with 2 homers, taking a shot at plus 360. Hunter Englehart's on Houston first half money line. Says this lineup saw Gausman yesterday, like I thought they would see Bassett today. Bassett's going to look like batting practice to this lineup. Bo Jackson back on Astros money line, and Spencer Pennybaum saying Alvarez batting 400 versus Bassett with 3 homers. Going to try to get him as well at plus 300. So, and Ron Crawford said some early spreadsheet spots. 2023 underdogs are 95 and 150, hitting at 39%, down 18.02 units. Sharpie says I looked at back Bassett outs today with the Houston Astros will load up 7 right-handed batters and ground balls are coming. Eric Jones says the under 9 here, and LJ from H-Town is on the over 9 here. So Bassett in his last start at home versus Tigers looked much better. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 in runs, 7 Ks, 3 walks. And, you know, he got lit up in that first start, but he's looked quite good in the 2 starts afterwards, Angels and Tigers. Jose Urquidy has a nice start to the year. 1.37 whip, 2.35 ERA. His last start was at Pittsburgh, and he looked very good. 6 innings, 2 hits, no in runs, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Jays are smashing righties, 270, 774 OPS. The Astros don't show a lot of power on the right side. Look, we saw it yesterday, but overall, 251, 707 OPS. Jays bullpen, 3.26 ERA, 1.20 whip. It's looked quite strong, and everybody knows where they fit in that bullpen. So I expect it to be a good bullpen this year, just good. Astros bullpen 3.84 ERA, 1.31 whip. Take it away for us here, Pete. Blue Jays, Astros.
Yeah, this is a scary game. Leaning Toronto and under, though, as of right now. Leaning Toronto and under. Bassett last start was less bad. Probably still vulnerable, but might be a little bit better here. Urquidy, overall good. Still probably a bit vulnerable. I guess I'm going to pass on this one. But by first pitch, I might see something or hear something that'll put me on a bet. But as of right now, leaning Toronto and under.
funny, Blue Jays. Wow. Just Jay, also from H-Town, 3rd Ward in the house. Just Jay joining us as well. Spenny liking Bregman, total bases over 1.5 plus 130, 368 average versus Bassett and 20 plate appearances. And this is no official move for you, Pete?
Yeah, no official move. That is funny, Luce Fox. Hell yeah.
And Sharpie says it was in the line yesterday. They were begging for money on Gausman K-prop because they knew he was going to get whacked. Same thing they're doing to Lodolo today. Interesting. Okay.
Whose comment was that?
That's from Sharpie, our guy.
Sharpie. Even if it's not true, great comment. I love that kind of analysis. Hell yeah. I mean, even if it doesn't translate into an actual win, I love that kind of analysis, Sharpie.
Yeah, it's beautiful. He's a huge help to everything that we do here. Okay. Hunter Engelhardt says we can't factor the Bassett start against AAA Tigers. Says Astros score first plus 110 isn't a bad look either. Let's move on. 8:40 p.m. Eastern. Next up for us, the Pittsburgh Pirates 10-7, 7-4 on the road at the Colorado Rockies, 5-12, 3-5 at home. Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Velasquez doing what Velasquez does, man. This guy, I just got to stay as far away from him as possible. He's absolute trash, but then he can throw gems, and we know what pitchers do when they go to Pittsburgh. They improve. Colorado opening up minus 105. They're now minus 104. Totals wise, it's opened up at 12. It's now at 13. 13 juice to the under. Let's take a look at the weather in Colorado. We have 68 Fahrenheit, 18.1 miles per hour, slightly out to right field. Slightly out. Starts at 18, closes at 14. It's 68 Fahrenheit, so it's not cold. And the wind is blowing out to right. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. 79% of the tickets, 83% of the cash just moved to 78 and 81 are on the Pirates, but the market's not moving towards them. Total-wise, 92% of the tickets, 98% cash is on the over. Velasquez was spectacular, 5-0 win at the Cards. Now, Sharpie, in that spot, he told us that he did not trust the St. Louis Cardinals to bring their bats after the series in Colorado, and he was absolutely right. And it saved me. I was so close to betting it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to stay off it, and I thank Sharpie for that. Velasquez was excellent. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 6 Ks, 2 walks, but he's got 5.40 ERA, 1.58 whip, and he's not to be trusted. Jose Urena had a pretty good start in a 7-4 loss at home versus Cardinals last out. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 homers, 6 Ks, 1 walk. It was better than it's been. Pirates versus righties, 238, 736 OPS. Rockies versus righties, 254, 712 OPS. Pirates bullpen, 3.73 ERA. Same whip as the Rockies bullpen, but Rockies bullpen is 4.66 ERA. Take it away for us here, Pete. Pirates, Rockies.
Yeah, when these lines opened, I did take shots with run in the first inning, yes, and the first 3 over at 3.5. And those lines have both moved quite a bit. Not huge, but a bit. I might give them again here. It's just, I don't trust either of these starters for obvious reasons. Lean Colorado here, and haven't bet Colorado yet, but definitely took run in the first, yes, and first 3 over when the lines were better than they are now. Would probably take them again if I hadn't already bet them, though. Maybe I'll give it official.
There's no chance that I will back Velasquez after a good start. I would like to fade him here in Colorado. But I don't know if I can. If you were forced to bet a side in this game, Pete, what would you bet?
Colorado.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. Let's see what the line is. Where does it move? Yeah, has it really moved? No, I'm an inch away from pulling the trigger on Colorado anyway as an official play. Jim?
Would you be focusing on full game or first 5?
Full game for sure. Full game. And you know what? Maybe we can just read some comments and talk a little bit, and I'll give a price here on a play on Colorado.
Sure. Let's take a look at Velasquez's history at Coors Field. So in 2022, he did not pitch there. Let's keep going back. Let's go to 2021. See if he pitched there in 2021, and he did, and he looked okay. 4 innings, 2 earned runs. He looked pretty good in 2021. I guess the 2020 is a pandemic year, so it doesn't really count. So let's go back.
Jim, you can give me Colorado -1 plus 131. That's the current line at Heritage. Colorado Rockies -1 plus 131.
And he looked good at Coors Field again in the time of 4. Wow. Okay. Okay. Sorry. So Loshak is on the Rockies -1. Was that plus 134?
Plus 131.
Plus 131.
Current line Heritage. There's a shitty team, but yeah, I like the spot.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna need. I don't know what Velasquez he just fucks me every chance he gets. He if I back him or if I fade him, he just gets great joy out of filling the old prison pocket. So let's move past it onto the next spot on the board. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. We not only have BJ's best bet on the board, Cubs on the run line, but we also have the Say Hey play of the day here as well. So let's welcome once again the producer of our very show right here and the host of Say Hey plays of the day, Jose Sweet Tea Tits Bouquet, for this Cubs A spot. Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. Stroshovers, as Sharpie likes to call him, Ken Waldekuck. Let's take a look at the weather and the cash and everything here. First off, in Oakland, 53 Fahrenheit, 10.3 miles per hour to right center. It's chilly and windy out in a pitcher's ballpark. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Cubs A's. We have over here we go. We have the A's opening up a plus 154. They're now plus 165. Looking at it in a different way, the Cubs opened up minus 168. They're now minus 180. So a 12-cent move to the Chicago Cubs. From a total perspective, this opened up at 7, minus 112 to the over. Now it's minus 115 to the over. So it's a very low total here. Let's go over to the cash flow for this one. So we'll start with the total. 52% of the tickets, 67% of cash on the under. Let's move to the money line. Money line wise, we have 85% of the tickets, but 69% of the cash. So, we've seen nonstop belief from the Sharps that there's value in the A's almost every single day. Stroman's been excellent this year. A 1 ERA, a 1 whip in 18 innings, 2-1 with 20 Ks, 8 walks. Hasn't allowed a homer yet. Last start was a loss at home versus the Mariners, but he went 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks, 2 walks. He looked good. Waldekuck looked much better in his last start at the Orioles against a team that can hit lefties. It was an 8-4 win. He went 6 in the third, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks, 3 walks. The Cubs are hitting lefties very hard. 328, 872. Very, very hard. A's aren't hitting righties at all. 226, 63 OPS. Cubs bullpen's been decent. A's bullpen has been trash. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquet. Your Say Hey play of the day. Floor is yours.
Yeah, this is kind of a layup play. Maybe I'm looking for an easy dub here. I don't know. But it's just Cubs first 5 -1/2 here. And just like I've seen and watched, I have become a juice king. So I've taken this at -130.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Huh?
Wow.
I am now a part of the Juice clan. Apparently, I'm taking it at a -130. I got that at Bet Online. Just I don't feel like I really have to do much analysis there. Obviously we know Waldekuk is not good. The Cubs are crushing lefties as well as, and I believe in Marcus Stroman, him being a good pitcher. A terrible person to hang out with. I would never want to hang out with Strosho, but I would love to bet on him. Believe in him here today. We had a better road ERA than home, but obviously he kind of was figuring out the trials and tribulations of Wrigley Field last year. He's pitched well this year so far, so give me the Chicago Cubs first 5.
And did you tweet that out already?
Nope, none of these plays have been tweeted out, so we can line shop, etc. But I'm betting a -130.
Well, let's get that for you right now. Let's get that for you. I'd play more Strosho music right now, but I'd be playing one song over and over and over again. Can't Nobody. Been playing that Lil Wayne song over and over and over again. Take it away here for us, Pete. Cubs Athletics.
Well, that makes me very nervous. I mean, I'm not going to bet Oakland because Oakland is terrible. I'm going to be rooting for you, Jose Bouquet, but it definitely makes me nervous. Stroman is a guy who I feel like I have a decent read on. He's a guy who, when he's pitching badly, I like to bet on buying him low, and then when he's pitching well, think about selling when he's selling high. And this is just a very treacherous spot here, going on the road at Oakland against a shitty team on paper as a massive road favorite. Makes me very nervous. Waldechuk, obviously, on paper looks terrible. I hope you cash. I am definitely not going to be on either side here. And, the Cubs probably do win like 4-3 or something like that. Hope you cash. Pass for me.
I am interested in this first 5 under, Pete. Is the fact that the Cubs are raking lefties enough to keep you off of it?
Yeah, and it's a low total. And, Stroman is good, but he's not friggin', Garrett Cole and who's that other guy who's awesome? Ohtani. He's not that level. So he's going to have his duds here and there. You know what I mean? And kind of like on the road as a big favorite against a supposedly weak hitting team where you're going to have a low total. Just the whole thing makes me nervous, but I hope you all cash, including everyone in the comment section who bets on this game. It's going to be a pass for me.
God, I want that first 5 under. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'll do it, but I want this first 5 under badly. And I agree. I'm kind of a little nervous about Strosho here. I think that Waldekuk is more than capable after what he did against the Orioles. More than capable of having an okay start here. Okay, a lot of love here for Strosho and the Cubbies. I like the first 5. If you had a free bet on the first 5 total, Pete, at 4, would you go over or under it?
Yeah, a free bet. Yeah, I take the under. Sure. Yeah.
I like the under 4. What about you, Jose? First 5 total.
To be honest, I would lean over,
and that's because you think Waldekuk is the vulnerable one, not.
Yeah, I think Waldekuk, anything he gives up, or I guess anything Stroman gives up would be a bonus. I think Waldekuk could give up at least 3 on his own, and maybe you get 1 from Stroman, and then you're on dicey waters, as that is.
Yeah, I have a little concern with Stroman, but I think Waldekuk's going to start. I think Waldekuk's going to start giving us value at home. I really do. Sharpie leaning to the over first 5. Okay, I'll have to sit with it a little longer, but I'm very interested in the first 5 under in Cubs A's tonight. Jose, great stuff. Who is your guest today on Say Hey Plays of the Day?
Breaking it down with Bobano today. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Shitty start, obviously, down 17 units to start off the year, but we'll climb back. It is quite funny to say 17 units in like 2 weeks, but we're high volume. We'll keep shooting, and it'll be a whole lot of fun either way. So me, Bobano, breaking it down today. Say Hey Plays, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, and then shout out to Sharpie, as always, the Balking Dead as well. So shout out to him and Big Show doing the damn thing.
And Sharpie's saying, have you not seen what the Cubs have been doing to lefties? It says reminder last night Muller lefty the day before. They cracked Urias and now Waldekuk. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm staring at it, and with a 328 average and 872 OPS, it all doesn't correlate, and you want everything to correlate here, and it all doesn't correlate. So that's the problem. That's the one thing that kind of sticks out as a sore thumb. So okay, I'll take it off, but if I had a free spot, I certainly would be moving on it. But okay, let's move on. I'll take it off. You're right, Sharpie. It doesn't all correlate, and I should leave it off. All right, let's move on. Pistol Pete Loshak. Right now, Pete, we have 3 games left on the card, and then we get into NBA playoffs, and we have Trot Wam joining us for the NBA playoffs. Nice to see Roger that in the house. Okay, let's move on. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. I've been waiting to talk about this one. The Milwaukee Brewers, 12-5, 7-4 on the road at the Seattle Mariners, 8-9, 5-6 home at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Colin Ray, 1 game started, and he was very good. And it was my fucking laziness. I was on the under full game in this, and they changed the pitcher to Colin Ray, and I was like, you know what? I was just tired and laziness and bullshit, and so my bet got voided. And I should have just bet it again, and I didn't. And of course, the game was 4-3 in extra innings. He went 5 2/3, 2 hits, 1 earned run. It was a solo shot, 6 Ks and 1 walk. He didn't know he was starting, and now he's had a week to think about starting again. And Colin Ray is not a highly thought of pitcher, and I don't trust him here. Logan Gilbert, 1-1, 2.70 ERA, 1.08 WHIP, 20 Ks and 16 2/3, just 4 walks, 1 home run. He pitches great on the road. He pitches great at home. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run in his last start, 7 Ks, 1 walk, and a 5-2 win at the Cubs. The Brewers are hitting righties hard, 275, 789 OPS, but I really trust Gilbert. The Mariners aren't hitting righties hard at all, 235, 698 OPS. Brewers bullpen, like always, is elite, 2.28 ERA, now 1.21 WHIP. Mariners bullpen 3.43 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. Let's take a look at the line history here with Ray versus Gilbert. Line history wise, the Mariners opened up at -148. They're now -156. But this came out yesterday at 3:17 p.m. at Pinnacle. There's not been a lot of movement in that direction. Total wise, this opened up at 8 as a pick'em. There's been a 4-cent move to the over. And when we get to the cash flow in this spot, you have 80% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on the Mariners. So why in the world are the books just so nonchalant here? I would think that they would have some concern and move the line, but that is not being the case. Total-wise, 49% of the tickets and 82% of the cash is on the under. 49 and 82 on the under, and we've had a 4-cent move to the over. So I don't feel like anything is correlating here the way I would want it to, Pete. Take it away for us here, Brewers, Mariners.
Yeah, very interesting game. My first thing, and again, Jimmy the Bag, my proprietary bullpen, rankings here. The reason they're proprietary is because no one else wants them, and they're probably wrong. But I'm not so high on the Milwaukee bullpen right now. I think they're very vulnerable. I think they've overachieved. I'm expecting negative regression from them, just so you know.
Interesting. I like knowing that because the whip doesn't really correlate with the ERA, but keep rolling, my man.
I could be wrong, but I'm just telling you what I think because I know you want to know what I think about bullpens and stuff.
Very much so, yes.
Yeah, I like Seattle here. I'd be interested in taking them first 5 and maybe full game -1. In general, I'm high on Milwaukee, and I've been betting them more often than not this year and doing well with them. So I don't like to fade them as a dog. But I agree with you on Ray, the starting pitcher for Milwaukee. I don't like the spot for him. Gilbert, I think, will be okay. And overall, I'm kind of liking Seattle here. I'm not sure how many, if I want to double up or whatever, but yeah, liking Seattle in general, overall.
It does, and the 96% of the cash on them does not concern you?
On Seattle?
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that. Oh, wait, 96% of the cash.
Yeah, 81% of the tickets, 96% of cash.
Yeah, it's fine. I hope they all win. Yeah, I kind of like Seattle here. Although the higher the number goes, I like it less, obviously.
So do I. I would prefer to see a bigger move towards them. Honestly, I know it will cut into our cash, but I just makes me a little nervous that they're not
Yeah. All right. I'll make an official play here, Jim. Why don't you read some comments while I do a little shopping around for whatever I can find? And
Sure.
yeah,
Sharpie agreeing with you, believing that regression is coming for that pen. Roger, that would move on to the over 8 here in this spot. Joe Yurkovich says can't fade the Brewers yet.
Yeah, I like the Brewers in general. I've been on them since the first week. So I don't like fading them, especially as a dog, but maybe that is the time to fade them. Yeah, I feel nervous.
Our guy Robert Cherry, officer of 50 Ayashi Allah, says that he likes the Mariners in this spot tonight. I mean, that was my first thought just looking at the card. If you remember what started happening for me last year and figuring everything out to get to the point where I'm at now. Now, look, it's not succeeded, but I think I've had some bad luck here early in the year. Is the very first play that jumps out at me, I would put a line through it. That's my very first play when I look at the card that has a negative ROI. And this is it. Logan Gilbert and the Mariners was the very first play that jumped out at me on this card. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like fading Milwaukee, but I'll throw it on there to start. Seattle -1, -109. Current line at Heritage. Seattle Mariners -1, -109. And I might double up with the first 5 as well.
All right. Wook Dog in the house says, man, I missed you guys. Didn't know you all had another show. Yeah, we do, man. Every Tuesday right here on Pub Sports Radio. Every Tuesday. Yep. And Pete is hot fire right now.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Every Tuesday right here.
Yeah.
Pub Sports Radio. Your number one source for sports betting information. No, that's not true. That's not true. not even close to number one. But a good source for jokes and good times and an awesome community of handicappers.
Okay, let's go. Pete, I will cheer you on with your Mariners -1 at -109.
All right, you know what? You can throw on first 5 as well. -1. God, this could screw my whole thing. But yeah, it's I do like the spot. And -160, first 5, not first 3. Let's take first 5 minus Seattle Mariners -160.
Wow.
We'll take it.
All right, you got it, Pete. You have got it. Joe Irvin says it's also a good source for masculinity.
Yes. It's a good source for many things, and it's a good source for sports betting information as well. Just not number one. I mean, come on.
Let's move on. 2 games left, and this is timing out perfectly. We plan to get into NBA in 6 minutes from now, so we've handled the timing well. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Atlanta Braves 13-4, 9-1 on the road. 9-1 on the road. At the San Diego Padres, 8-10, 4-7 at home. Chris says he's about to make the biggest bet he's ever made on the Cubs' first 5 -1. Wow. May the baseball gods bless you, and you'll be happy to know that you're riding with Jose Bouquet on this. So good luck. Spencer Strider, Blake Snell. Strider. Sweaty Butcher says Strider K's till his arm falls off. Okay, I gotta stay focused here. Strider 1-0, 3.38 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, 16 innings, 27 Ks in 16 innings, 8 walks, and 1 homer. His last start, he only made it through 5 innings, allowed 3 earned runs, but still punched 9 out, 9 Ks and 2 walks, the 5-4 win at home over the Reds. Blake Snell, on the other hand, has looked awful. 0-2, 6.92 ERA, with 2.15 WHIP, 13 innings, 16 Ks, 10 walks, 3 homers. Last start, he went 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were in 2 homers, 5 Ks, and 5 walks. He looked bad. It was a 5-2 loss at the Mets. I mean, he looked a little better, but that's how bad he's looked. And last year, I was great with Snell. I was able to ride him when he was starting to pitch well and stay away from him or fade him when he was pitching poorly. I don't know what to do right now at this point. Cuban Connect in the house. LJ from H-Town is on Strider over 7.5 Ks. Let's take a look at the weather first in San Diego. 60 Fahrenheit, 9.4 miles per hour, left to right, slightly in. Stays between 9.4 and 9.7 all game. Take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Snell and the Padres opening up at plus 123. That's exactly where they stand right now. Total-wise, opened up at 7.5, minus 110 to the other. It's minus 109 to the under. It's exactly where it opens. So no movement on either side. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot here. Where is it? Sorry, we have 67% of the tickets and 75% of the cash on the Braves, but no movement towards them. So that's interesting. For the total here in this one, we have 33% of the tickets and 79% of the cash on the under. 33% and 79% cash on the under. And no movement there. So not a lot of help here. Braves versus lefties, they've been hammering them. 324, 877 OPS. Padres versus righties, 226, 717 OPS. Braves bullpen, 2.78 ERA, 1 whip. Padres bullpen, 3.45 ERA, 1.36 whip. Take it away for us here, Pete. Braves, Padres.
This is, I don't know. Hopefully I don't get burned here, but I can't not really take Atlanta first 3. I did take it on the overnight. Snell, I've had a pretty good read on him too. He's obviously a slow starter, but has good stuff, can turn it around at any time. And Strider, when he first came up, I was betting him like Ohtani, just first 5, opposing team total unders, 1.5, whatever. He's a little shakier now, but all things considered, once again, if Atlanta wins the first 3 and I'm not on it, I'll be very frustrated. I did bet it. I bet it a slightly better line where it is right now, but I think I got to take it. And I will make it. I'll make it official. -140 current line at Caesars. Atlanta Braves first 3 -140.
First 3 -140 for Pistol Pete Loshak. Josh Bendick saying hard not to take Strider. This does not really interest me here, this one, because I'm waiting for Snell to pitch better.
Yeah, of course. A 7-inning shutout would not at all be a shock at all.
I think it would be a shock. You don't, because the way the Braves are hitting lefties. Don't you think? I think it'd
be a little bit of a surprise. Sure. Yeah. Right.
Sharpie says Strider now is a true 3-pitch pitcher. Uses his changeup now. Strider's special pitcher, no doubt about it. And look at it, 27 strikeouts in 16 innings. He's a special pitcher. Okay, let's move on to the final spot on the board before we get into NBA playoffs with Wham Bam 30-30. New York Mets 11-6, 7-4 on the road at the LA Dodgers 8-9, 5-5 at home at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. I will be there myself this summer, and I can't wait. It's been a long time since I've seen a Dodgers game live. Since the days of Fernando Valenzuela. I don't think I've seen a Dodgers game live since 1987. The Mets open up at +151. They're now at +146. Total wise, it's opened up at 8 -113 to the over. It's now 8.5. Let's go over to the cash flow here. I didn't do the weather. My apologies. 57 Fahrenheit, 9.9 miles per hour to right. Starts at 9.9.
He says, what was spreadsheet play of the day? Believe it or not, Baltimore. I'm not saying you should bet it. I'm just relaying the information. Rue Rizza.
Oh, Bo Jackson's going to Jays Dodgers. When is that, Bo? What's the date for that? I would love it if I was there. I don't think I am, though. When I look at the schedule, I don't think it's it. But okay, stay focused here. I can't wait to talk about this game. This is going to be a really fun game. This is the time of the year where I can't sleep. I can't sleep. The games are too important in playoff NBA and NHL to my bankroll, and the night games. I don't know how anybody succeeds. Just know that you're just not getting sleep. 74% of the tickets, 65% of the cash is on the over. 74 and 65 on the over, and we've seen it go from 8 to 8.5. So that's all. That all makes sense. With the money line, we have seen a slight move towards the New York Mets, a very slight move towards New York Mets. Let's take a look at the cash for this one. We move down here, and here we go. So 66% of the tickets and 82% of the cash is on the Dodgers, and we have a slight move towards the New York Mets. July 24th. I think I just miss it. I just miss you, Bo. Damn. Okay. So Sharpie says Kershaw will dominate the Mets today. Not just saying that because I'm a homer. I expect a solid 6 innings and 2 earned runs. Tyler McGill, 3-0, 2.25 ERA, 1.19 whip, 13 Ks in 16 innings, 13 K, 7 walks. Bad K to walk ratio, but he's been very good. His last start at home over the Padres, 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 3 walks. Clayton Kershaw coming off a tougher start. It was still a 10-5 win at the Giants, but 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, 4 Ks, 2 walks. The Mets are starting to hit lefties better. I've been talking about that being one of their weaknesses over the last couple of years, but they're starting to hit them a little better. 245, 762 OPS. And the Dodgers are hitting righties hard, 244, 806 OPS. Mets bullpen has been good. Probably a little more vulnerable than the stats speak. And the Dodgers bullpen has been very bad. This is a long time coming. We haven't seen the Dodgers bullpen look like this in a long time. 4.97 ERA, 1.53 whip. Pistol Pete, the final game on the MLB board. Take it away, Mets, Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I mean, I think, Kershaw, is good, but I'm just not quite seeing the Mets as this big of an underdog as being justified. I didn't bet this one, and I am probably not going to, but I don't quite understand the line. I feel like the line is a little bit too high, and that's basically my take on it. But I definitely didn't bet the Mets. I just don't quite understand the line and feels a little too high.
I was hoping to get on the Dodgers, but just the market won't let me at this point. But and I've been watching the Mets, hit lefties a little better. The thing is that that's the wrong game here. Let me move back here. Sorry, I thought I had the Dodgers one up here. I'd just like to go over the batter versus pitcher spot here because I think it is very relevant here. I know that McGill's not going to have a ton of history, but I'd like to know what's going on. Oh, God, it keeps screwing up. It's not going to let me. If you were... if this wasn't as big of a spot, what are your expectations of Kershaw?
Excellent starting pitcher. Not lights out like he used to be, but certainly very reliable. But it's just you're always going to get a huge price with him. And here again, I don't have him as rated that much better than I just don't quite understand the line. Overall, I have not a huge edge for Kershaw. Team-wise, give the Mets an edge. Bullpen's roughly a watch, actually slightly into the Mets. Don't understand the line.
Yeah, he gets a lot of these guys out. Really nice numbers against them. And the Dodgers get them Gill. I mean, Freeman 4 for 8 against them. Muncy 2 for 3. But not a ton of experience there. I do have a feeling oh, wow. Tigers are looking good here. Sharpie saying, I don't bet my team rarely. And when I do, I have a winning percentage over 70%. Haven't pulled the trigger yet because Dodgers can't match the bats with the pitching yet. And Dodgers in a funk, says Bo Jackson. I kind of lean to the over in this spot here, Pete. But I don't know if I can pull the trigger on it. Let me just touch on what I know. We're about to get into NBA, and I want to get into NBA too. Do you agree with this market move from 8 to 8.5?
From 8 to 8.5. I have no real opinion on the total.
I have a lean here to the over in this spot. And do you see the Dodgers bullpen being as vulnerable as their stats?
No, I have the Dodgers as a decent bullpen. I have the Mets as only slightly higher. Mets just inside the top 10, Dodgers just outside the top 10, maybe.
Saturated says, maybe I'm feeling too confident about my Cubs win total bet, but I'm going ham on the Cubs tonight. Team total for 4.5, Cubs minus 1.5, Horner and Swanson over 1.5 bases, and Wisdom home run. Darren Thompson talking about the Reds. And then our guy DC Capper says winners coming up here. I just wish that, so I guess I got to stay off the total because, there are some bigger bets on the under, but the market clearly a little concerned moving it from 8 to 8.5. Sharpie says Dodgers pens has been better than the numbers. A few arms that have made the number look a lot worse. So maybe first 5 is a question mark for the over. Okay.
I have Dodgers pen rated as above average, actually.
I just want to take a look at so we know that the full game has gone, moved towards the over. The first half has not moved at all. Not moved at all. Actually, there's been a couple times where it slipped down to 4 or 4.5, depending on where you can get it. That 4 would be a great place, unless Kershaw just runs these guys through the ringer. Let me just see what I get. And I'm still getting an 8. Wow, 4 at minus 125. Minus 125 lines have been the bane of my existence. Okay, I'm interested in that first 5 over. DC Capper says pass. All right, let's review all baseball before we get into NBA with Wham Bam 3000. First off, Loshak's on the first 3 under 2.5 in game 1 of Cleveland, Detroit. He stayed off the second game. In game 1 of the Phillies, White Sox, he's on the Phillies first 3 minus 120. Hasn't moved on game 2. I'm going to be on the Marlins first 5 minus 110. That starts my day. I'm interested in the Reds first 5 with Lodolo, but I do want a little bit more time on it, and I do want to study the K prop situation for Lodolo. Not that I would move on the K prop, but I think it is telling. And I copied and pasted Sharpie's comments, so I just want to study that a little more. Loshak is on yes run first inning in the Angels Yankees, and you have question marks beside the first 3 over. Did you end up moving on it, or do you not want?
Nah,
DC Capper 7% play on the over 9 in Angels Yankees. That's moved to 9.5. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today's on Baltimore -1 at -113. Loshak's on the Twins first 3 at -115. Jose's on the first 5 over 4.5, and I'm very interested in the under. I'm just not sure. And with Jose on the over, I just need to sit with it a little longer. Rangers Royals, no action for us. Pete, you're on the first 3 under 2.5 in Arizona St. Louis, and I want in on that. Toronto, Houston, we stayed off. You're on the Rockies -1 at +131. BJ's best bet of the day is the Cubs -1.5. Jose's on the Cubs first 5 -0.5. Pete and I are not on that game. Loshak, you've doubled up on the Mariners. First 5, money line -160. Full game -1 at -109. You're on the Braves first 3 at -140. And then I've got some more work to do on whether I'll move on the over in Mets Dodgers. And then back to the run that Pistol Pete is on. It is unbelievable. And in MLB, he started the year 10-4, plus 7.89 units. I have him at plus 8.09 just because there was a bit of a discrepancy on one line that he grabbed. But just to give you an idea of what that means, starting the year for him, 57.79% ROI. And his average line is plus 121 in those 14 bets, plus 121. And when we get over to NBA, Pete, you're 13-5 plus 7.41 units. We'll talk about that here in a second. Yeah. So it is time to move on to NBA playoffs for us all. Let's bring in our NBA expert coming to us from Compton, California. He's been very good on our show, and we want the winners to keep rolling in. Please welcome Wham Bam 3000 to the show.
Doing it for the people. We're doing it for the people. What's going on?
It is great to see you, Wham Bam. With your guidance, our very own Pistol Pete Loshak has hit 13 of his last 18 NBA bets, plus 7.41 units. So we are running nice here on Tuesdays, and you are a major part of it. It's great to have you here on the show, and great to have all the cappers rolling with us. It is time for NBA right now here on Betting with the Bag, or Loshak in the Bag. Let's go. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. The East first round, game 2. Boston up 1-0 in the series. It was a very comfortable, easy victory. TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Atlanta was 500 this year in the regular season, just 17-24 on the road. Celtics 32-9 at home. The pace of game 1 fit Atlanta's pace. The pace of game 1 was 103.5 possessions a game. Atlanta, in their last 10 games, not including the playing games, but last 10 regular season games, were playing at a pace of 102.5 at 7 possessions a game, while Boston had sped up a little bit in their final 10 games, 99.15 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the line history first, and then the cash flow in this spot here. Let's move over to NBA action and discuss what's going on in Hawks Celtics. We have a big favorite in Boston, and it has not moved at Pinnacle. It did briefly. It opened up at -10 at -108. It got to 10.5 at 9:22 this morning. Just an hour and 9 minutes ago, it moved back to 10. So it's exactly where it started. A 1 cent move to the Celtics, -10. From a total perspective, this opened up at 227.5, and it's now at 230.5. And that was a pretty fast pace for a game where only 211 points were scored in game 1, 103.50 possessions a game. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot, and then we will set a quick table We'll hear what Pistol Pete thinks, who's running very nice in NBA, and then we will let Wham Bam deliver the goods. First off, 41% of the tickets and 70% of the cash are on Atlanta in Game 2. So there are bigger bets on them. From a total side of things, we have 58% of the tickets and 69% of cash on the over, and the market moving quickly for the over. Celtics, as I said, won game one very comfortably. 30-point halftime lead. Jaylen Brown went for 29 and 12, Tatum 25 and 11, and Derek White stepping up in playoff time once again with 24 points. Marcus Smart was excellent all-around game, 11 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Atlanta finished the regular season the highest scoring team in the East, 118.4 points per game. So they were held under 100 points for just the third time this year and the first time since December 7th. Trae Young, 5 of 18 shooting, just 1 of 5 from 3, held to 16 points. He averaged 26.2 in the regular season. DeJounte Murray, on the other hand, looked very good. 24 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, and 3 steals. LJ from H-Town, who will be joining us tomorrow, looking at points, rebounds, and assists. DC Capper leaning towards the Celtics first half. He's on them full game. Spenny Pennybaum says he's liking Collins 15-plus points, 15 or more at plus 185. Brogdon 15 or more at plus 175, and 3 threes at plus 150. Take it away for us here. Pistol Pete Loshak. Stay hot in NBA. What are you looking at?
This is going to be a classic cap the capper situation for me, and maybe I'll pull another winner out of my ass. I don't know, man. Atlanta, Boston. Obviously, Atlanta's going to come back fighting in the first half to not get down, but maybe Boston's just too good. The depth, the length, the defense, everything. I don't know. I don't know NBA well enough to know whether Boston is just too good or whether Atlanta's going to be able to fight back. It feels like they just that Trae Young's not going to be that they've solved him and that he's going to have another off game. I don't know. That's the big question. Is Boston just too good? You tell me, Trot Wam.
Take it away, Wham Bam.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Molly Mall, Joe, my man Harrell. Appreciate everybody out there with all the kind words, man. Troy, man, I do hope that we are on the same side. My boy said he's on the opposite side of me, lost his last 2 bets. Let's win today, my boy. Let's win today. In this game, man, I can only go to the Celtics, bro. They closed the season out being one of the best 3-point percentage holding opponents at 29.4% with their allowing opponents. Started that game 1 holding these guys to 17% from 3. Man, come on, let's talk about it. They trying to trade Trae Young before the damn play-in even started. You know what I'm saying? They all the stuff come out there. And if Trae can't shoot or he can't dime, what is his little ass out there for? Like, what are you out there for, bro? Just to take up all the shots? One thing about these first 2 games that we're talking about, the newly acquired players, and DeJounte Murray and Donovan Mitchell, both of them shot the most shots. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're supposed to have something already set. I know this is a new team for Quinn Snyder, so he's going to get a pass regardless, especially going up against the Celtics. And obviously, you still have another opportunity to make this a series by still having an opportunity to win this game. So you don't want to count the Hawks out. But the job is really on the line here for like a lot of the not the job, but the legacy and everything to get back to where they were last year in the Celtics. I think they are taking this as serious as anybody, as much as serious as anybody in the league right now. So I'm not stepping in front of anything with the Celtics, bro. I think that the Hawks, just a bad matchup. I do want to see some of those other guys play a little bit better, like John Collins. I heard someone say about the 15 plus points. I do like that. I think he has to play better. I think you got to get Bogdanovich involved. Both of those guys didn't get enough looks. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of the 25 shots was given to DeJounte Murray. I know, he thinks he has the spot there, but you're shooting 40% from the field. I think we have to make some sort of adjustments there because you're giving it to him. You're giving it to 27%, man, and Trae Young, who can't get nobody the ball. I mean, he had 8 assists, but as much as he has the ball, he's supposed to be having like around 15 assists. So I think the defense is showing there. DeAndre Hunter, I think it's a bad matchup for him. I don't expect him to have a great series in this series. I just think there's a lot of guys that's his size on the other side. That's typically how he's able to eat because he has more of a physical, natural body. He should be able to ball out like that, but I don't like anything to do with the Hawks today. This is something I did not bet here because I want to see where the market was. I want to break this down with you guys, have a little bit more conversation throughout the day because I don't think this spread is moving nowhere before tip. And I don't think we should have to worry about any injuries or anything. So we have time to bet this game in particular here. Maybe a little bit different in some of these other games. I think you may see money coming in on some of the other sides there, but I think this is going to be an even type series because I'm not sure if a lot of people expect the Hawks to do what they haven't been able to do, for the past 2 years, is win on the road, especially in the playoffs. And as far as the Celtics team, I don't think no one wants to jump in front of the bleed green train. They just steamrolling everybody. Everybody's playing together. So I think it's a bad matchup here and all. So if I had the free play for sure, or if I'm desperate for a play by the end of the day before this game starts, it's going to be the -10 with the Celtics, man. That's the only way I would go in this game. And then I'm very close to pulling the Marcus Smart assist. He had 7 assists in the last game. He was only averaging about 5 assists to close the season out within the last 6 games. So he hasn't been able to hit this number crazy, but 5.5 for a guy that, has been that guy. We know that if you've been following us on the show, I've been trying to bet this as much as I can. And shout out to Dan Kelly, you got your wish. You hear me talking, that boy got to make a noise. He just got to make noise. I ain't mad at him. It's just what it is. But no, I like Marcus Smart, 5.5 assists. If that's something I bet, I will tweet that out at -125 is what I shopped and got the best number at. So I haven't bet that yet. But again, in this game, I haven't had an official play here yet. But it's going to be Marcus Smart, and then it'll be the Celtics -10. But I think Marcus Smart may make my card.
It does seem like anytime Lil Wham starts getting excited when Trot Wam's giving out a pick, that pick does really well.
That's
true. Yeah. He did that yesterday with Mikal Bridges under.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've definitely noticed that. There he is again. See, there he is again. I've noticed that. What was that? Wow.
Nasty Nate also on the Marcus Smart over assists prop. Dennis Garcia says 230.5 seems high. Abel Alvarez is on the under 230.5. Harold Williams leaning towards the under 230. Darren Turner says if the Hawks cover, this is over. Darren Turner says it went under the other day because the Hawks weren't scoring. If you had a free move on the total, do you think that this has gone too high?
I think it's going under, man. I think it's playoff intensity. Something has to happen on the Hawks' defensive side too. I mean, as much as they have to play better offensively, they didn't do nothing on the defensive side. These guys were getting whatever they want. 4 for 7 from 3 for Derek White. I mean, Al Horford did what he wanted to do. He only had 4 shots from 3, but they let him get those jumpers off. And I mean, we know the step back king and Jason Tatum is going to get his just due too. So I honestly don't expect. I think the bad matchup part that I was explaining is basically off their defense. They can't stop these guys, so I don't expect them to do anything. And that's the reason why I don't want nothing to do with the Hawks, bro. And if that's like you said, if you like the Hawks, you like the over, and I don't like the Hawks, so I'm on the under if I had to.
Pete, are you going to make anything official here?
No, not yet. What is Trot Wam on again?
He has not moved on anything, but he's close to moving on. Marcus Smart over assists prop.
Marcus Smart over assists. That's what he was talking about when Lil Wham started getting excited?
Yeah, Nasty Nate on it as well.
Over 5.5, huh?
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Now I'm capping the toddlers here. All right. I might pull the trigger on that.
Let's move on to the next game on the board. And Dan Kelly has already given us his look, which we will discuss here shortly. Give to us off the top of the show. East first round game to New York Knicks, 47-35, 24-17 on the road at Cleveland Cavaliers, 51-31, 31-10 at home at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. I am on the Knicks to win the series at +170. I'm on them to win the East at +3,300. It went from 35 to 4,000. And then it moved back to 3,300. Unfortunately, I got it at 3,300. I also sprinkled on the 100 to 1 for the chip, but obviously, whatever. It is what it is. And I'm very excited. I was very excited about the first game of this series. And one thing that Pete always talks about is when a capper loves their home team, and Dan Kelly loves his Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's betting against them in that series, that has to be that's extremely important information, and that helped push me in the direction of the New York Knicks. There's our guy, Matty Ice, in the house. Great to see you, Matty Ice. So let's discuss first and foremost Dan Kelly's action. He's on the first quarter over 55 at -115. our Dan Kelly on the first quarter over 55 at minus 115. And shout out to our Dan Kelly. All right, let's discuss the situation. Knicks 47-35, 24-17 on the road. Cavs 20 games over 500, 21 games over 500 at home. The pace they played was 95 possessions a game. The Knicks had been playing to slightly over 100 possessions a game their final 10 games of the regular season, while Cleveland was playing 97.20 possessions a game. The Cavs opened up at -5. They're now at -6, -6-point favorites. From a total perspective, this opened up at 213. It's now up to 214 and a half. Very low scoring first game, 198 points scored in game one. Let's take a look at the line history here and all of the action. Let's go to all markets. The cash flow history here. We have 54% of the tickets and 77% of the cash on the Cavaliers. So we have bigger bets placed on the Cavaliers. They've moved from 5 to 6. Total wise, 42% of the tickets and 75% of the cash on the under, and yet this game has moved towards the over here. Spenny Pennybomb says Obi Toppin should see increased minutes with Hart out as well. I would consider his props, but not listed yet. Spenny says if Hart plays and I wouldn't touch, seems like Hart got upgraded to game time decision. He did. I was surprised, that he was sitting here doubtful. I was like, you could just see him in the lineup. You could just see him. He's just that kind of a basketball player. He just wants to be out there and he wants to be there for his team. The Knicks looked excellent in that 101-97 victory. Hart had a big double-double, and if he's not there, that would hurt. But this is a deep team. We've seen what Grimes is capable of doing, and Obi Toppin as well. Hopefully, Fournier doesn't get any extra minutes, but it's possible. 17-10. He's the first Knicks reserve with a double-double in the playoff game since 2013. Donovan Mitchell played just under 44 minutes, and that was something that happened with, you had Allen play 43 minutes. Garland played 43 minutes. Only 3 Knicks played more than 30 minutes. So, the Cavs are going all out, and it's not enough. So let's hear what Pistol Pete thinks about this spot before we head over to Wham Bam. Knicks Cavs, Pete.
Okay, well, you kind of said it. Are the Cavs going to play the same usage that they played in the first game? Because if so, then probably Jarrett Allen, at the very least, Jarrett Allen gets 10 or 11 rebounds minimum. My impression from what I read was that Hart is going to be out. I don't know what the latest news is, but I was assuming he was going to be out. So I don't know. I guess I was. Based on what Dan Kelly has said, I would have been leaning Knicks again, not necessarily to get a win, but to get a cover. But you guys know basketball better than I do. Is Allen going to play 40 minutes again? Because if so, I like Allen over 9.5 or 10.5 rebounds.
Let's hear.
Yeah, I'm on the double-double. I'm on the double-double with Jarrett Allen, man. Minus 105.
Oh, yes.
Jarrett Allen, money, right, man. And you hit it right on the nail with me. I mean, what he said after the game is that they're going to change the defensive strategies. Their defensive strategies wasn't allowing them to get the rebounds. I mean, how many rebounds did they got a rebound with? 40 fucking rebounds. How many offensive possessions that they allowed? Like 17. I'm boy like this, please. I think he loved this.
And there he goes again. There goes Lil Wham going nuts again. That's another winner. That's another winner right there.
I gave him an apple. He was quiet the whole breakdown. As soon as he started to talk, it was crazy.
I'm pretty good at capping the toddlers. This is a better play than Marcus Smart assists over. I'm definitely going to be on this. I'm going to bet it right now and make it official.
This is official for me. I'm also on the 5.5 as well with the Cavs. I think they bounced back. I got the 5.5 at minus 115. It's still available too. Minus 115 on Bovada, if I'm not mistaken. So you're gonna, and if you do go to that website, you got to go down to where they give out the alternate spreads. You see the 5.5 right in there, minus 115. Just a little insider there. You can't get on the rain page. They're only gonna give you the 6. But for the most part, I do like this look a lot. I know a lot of my guys that I respect. My boy going crazy right now. I do like a lot. A lot of people like this too. I know Jay Money talked about it yesterday. I know Ski likes this look. It's just got to be a bounce back spot for us. You know what I mean? Like they did what they had to do with the Cavs. The Knicks. The Knicks did what they had to do. They bought the hell out. They went crazy. went crazy on the boards like we talked about. And I ain't gonna lie, I think the difference in this game is going to obviously be the thing about the playoffs is not only about possessions or my boy going crazy. It's not about the possessions, you know what I mean, that are at a premium, but it's literally about like how things can really like spiral down with confidence too. Once you start seeing that these guys got so many players, they're so much deeper than you. Like it's really tough for you to like balance back with that. So I think that the Cavs obviously don't have the bench that the Knicks have. They got guys that could come in and help the Cavs right now. If they had like Hardenstein or some of these guys, Josh Hart, for example, if they had Josh Hart on the Cavaliers, their wing problem would be gone. They wouldn't have a problem with a wing. He'll be starting and all that stuff. The fact that this is a luxury player for the Knicks, it just adds on top of they didn't have Quickly out there playing well. They didn't have Quentin Grimes out there playing well. And man, like shout out to my boy Abel. Y'all know y'all hear this. My boy is mad as hell. He like, bro, you still on this damn show? What's going on?
But I don't know. I'm capping the toddlers here out of the mouth of babes. I think he doesn't agree with that. I think the Knicks is a play.
And I think the psychological effect is going to give us the Cavs, going to get a little ease back with the Knicks. I do think that they are going to be one of those greediest teams in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. And I think they've probably eventually win this series just again based off of the wing depth that they have and the lack of wing depth the Cavs have. This game right here is based off of just strictly situational, and I don't think that Donovan Mitchell, like I spoke on with the newly acquired Murray, I don't expect Donovan Mitchell to have all the shots in this game. Maybe he's still going to have the most shots, but I don't think he's going to have all of them. I think Darius Garland goes over the 20.5 points as well. Very close of doing that in the first game. Similar to what we're looking at the numbers here. We're trying to see what the odds makers are allowing us to take. Yesterday, Mikal Bridges was obviously going to be a popular pick. Mikal Bridges over in points. They set that shit up at 26.5, and it was juiced to the under at -130. You're seeing a flip-flop with this Darius Garland prop. They're juicing the over at -130, and they're giving you plus money on the under. I think a lot of people are expecting Donovan Mitchell to continue to be that guy for this Cavs team. And I think that it's going to be Darius Garland, possibly, may not be the leading scorer here, but he's going to get a fair amount of shots to go over that 20.5 points. So that's something I haven't locked in yet, but we did lock in is Jared Allen double-double. I think he continues to do that, which he got the double-double last game. So -105 is what I got that at. And then I got the Cavs -5.5, -115. And yeah, that's how we looking there.
Jared Allen double -105, Cavs -5.5 at -115. Dan Kelly added a couple spots to. I thought I just copied and pasted it, but it didn't go through. Dan Kelly added a couple bits. He loves the Allen prop. He's also on Grimes over 2.5 threes at +150, and he's on Mitchell Robinson over in rebounds.
All right, Jim, give me Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds plus 100. That's the current line at Will Hill. Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds plus 100.
Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds at +100 for Pistol Pete Loshak. All right. Let's roll on.
And I just have to say, it sounded like Lil Wham likes the Knicks.
It does,
I'm just letting you know my cap of the toddler.
No, I think so too. I think that's what he said. But people asking me whether I want to jump in on the first half play. I think I'm in a spectacular shape, especially with the Giannis injury. I know that looks like he'll come back, but this could be a back injury that plagues him throughout the playoffs. That's who the Knicks will get in the second round, either the Heat or the Bucks. And my goodness, if they can get through 2 rounds and this is all live, it'll just be the greatest hedging situation in the history of my action. I've never had, well, whatever. We don't need to talk about that, but I'm very excited. Very, very excited about the Knicks action that I have. And LJ saying the Cleveland problem is they can't score in the paint. Knicks plus 14 points in the paint. Too many turnovers are cause for concern for the Cavs. And our Troy Torrance is back in the Cavs -5.5 with Wham Bam. And Wham is on the Jared Allen double-double. And Pete's on the Jared Allen over 10.5 rebounds. And I already mentioned Dan Kelly's first quarter over 55 at -115. All right, let's roll on the final game on the card tonight. This one got me right in the heart of the khakis. On Sunday, I got in on Phoenix plus 160. I had plenty of chances to, take the Clippers at a plus line to kind of, take away some of the pressure that I was dealing with. I didn't, and it hurt. Let's talk about this spot here. Clippers 44-38, 21-20 on the road. West first round game 2. Clippers up 1-0 in the series. Suns 45-37, 28-13 at home. And DC Cappers on Cleveland, New York Knicks under in the first half. I can spend a little bit of time on that while we're discussing this one and let you know my thoughts on that first half under. Darren Turner says market moving in the Suns' favor, but I don't know why. He's leaning to the over 225. Preston Ekdahl says 10 games so far where the spread has not mattered in the playoffs. The underdog wins outright or the favorite rolls. The Trill OG play of the day is in. Trill OG play of the day is the Suns' first quarter -3. Suns' first quarter -3. Pace at the Footprint Center in Game 1 was 102.50 possessions a game, a little faster than both the Clippers and the Suns played the last 10 games of the year. Dan Kelly has a same-game parlay at 3-1. KD over 2.5 threes, KD over 29.5 points, and the Suns' money line.
Got it, Dan Kelly. Hell yeah. Thank you, Dan Kelly.
Got that at DraftKings. Penny Bombs is on Norm Powell, 20-plus points. In the excitement of the moment for Sunday, I did follow Tail 2 player props. That also got me right in the old drink hole, right in the old food pussy. Very angry about both of them. One was Storm and Norman over points. The other was 8 and under 16.5 points. They both got me. But let's stay focused here on what could be coming, not the anger of last week's or Sunday's action. The Clippers looked excellent game 1. No getting around it. 115-110 at Phoenix on Sunday. Let's take a look at the line history here for this Suns spot. Final game on the board here on Loshak in the bag. The Suns open up -7.5. They're now -8.5. That's a big spread. This total opened up at 225. It's now at 227. So on Sunday, there was a big move to the under. And here, there's a big move to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. We have 50% of the tickets on the Clippers, on this. Well, yeah, 50 on the Clippers, 50 on the Suns, and 81% of the cash on the Suns. So the big bets are coming in on the Suns. Market obviously concerned and moving the line. Total-wise, it's 50-50 on the total. You have 50% of the tickets, 51% of cash on the over, but obviously the books seem concerned about that overaction, and they're moving the line accordingly. Leonard is first game in a playoff game in 22 months. And he looked very good. 38 points, 13 of 24 shooting. Westbrook shot 3 of 19 from the field, but he did a lot of good for them. 11 points, 8 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. KD, 27 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds. And that's the first time they've lost with him on the floor. Booker went for 26. Torrey Craig went for 22. Chris Paul, 11 and 10. 11 boards and 10 assists, but just 7 points. He's got to score more. And Gordon was excellent, 19 points for the Clippers, and clearly the primary option with Paul George sideline. Pistol Pete, any feels before Wham Bam breaks this down in Clippers Suns?
My thought was the Trill OG play of the day, Suns first quarter, but then I'm seeing -3 money line, like -205. I don't know, man. That's what I was thinking, but I don't know if I can pull the trigger on it. Got to hear what you guys have to say first.
Take it away, Wham Bam.
Tough fucking game, man. Tough game. Because the narrative to me is going to tell us to take the Clippers. They can be able to grind this shit out. Ty Lue is a genius. Let's just talk about all of that. And Russ, he ready to beat up the fans, man. He going into the suites, asking for his questions, got his shirt all the way up like he Webby. You know what I'm saying? That shit was crazy. That was crazy. And let's add a little element here. The books probably want the Clippers too after my guy Jimmy broke that down. And does the NBA want it? They put the boy that just Scott Foster in here. We know what type of time he be on when it comes to Chris Paul. 13 playoff games. The last time it was last 13 playoff games he officiated with Chris Paul on the court. They all lost. Chris Paul lost every last one. Favorite probably a majority of them if you want to be technical. This is a spot that I can't take the Clippers because same reason why I feel like the Knicks may be falling a little bit flat here. They kind of already did what they needed to do. We do see that Paul George is working with the shoot around today. So obviously he's going to be leaning towards, likely to play within the next few games. I think it's probably more likely to happen in LA rather than in the Suns, but he is out there. He is warming up. Possibly can't play today. Who knows? There's been a lot of good information regarding his injury recently. But that being said, I could think the same way that you're saying as well, Pete. I think that early spot with the Suns may be a good spot. And I don't think they're going to cover, but I think that Chris Paul and Scott Foster, they might shake a little hands earlier in the game. Like, hey, man, I need this one, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he might end up getting them. He might end up giving it to him. So my mind is telling me to take the Suns, but me being Scott Foster's godson, I can only think to take the Clippers in the full game, the +8. Something I haven't bet here yet. I'm going to look at this game based off of how I do in the first game, in the Cavs game. If the Cavs game work how it's supposed to work, I'm going to be riding with my boy Scotty. I'm not going to lie. It may not be a full unit, but I don't think I could go past a game where he's officiating against Chris Paul. We know the results, bro. Like, it's just that simple. You just take that shit blindly. It's similar to Dwayne Casey going up against the Raptors. Like, just take it blindly, man. It has to lose multiple times. We've made enough money off of this. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things. I don't feel like I could do that full game, but I like the first half, first quarter looks, like you guys are saying. It just seems that, there has to be some type of resin there. But I will say this too. Now, the thing that I forgot to mention, my son was going crazy, is that they had a -23 bench points in that Cavs Knicks game. So they were able to hold down the bench like something crazy. In this game, I kind of feel the same vibes, man. I feel like in this game, the bench is definitely a lot better. They mortgaged their whole, future, their whole bench with this team. Bench points, 24, -24 for the Phoenix Suns. So the bench got outscored 34-10. Similar, very similar. You know what I mean? So I think it's a matchup problem. I think that's a matchup problem, a depth problem. It's going to be a long-term problem rather than situational. So again, I'm kind of going against that in both of these games because I think the Suns do bounce back. But the 8, I think it's such a big number. There's no way I could think that Kawhi Leonard and even possibly Paul George coming back could get us squeezed into this number here. So I'm not going to lie, though. If Paul George is announced in, I'm not going to touch the full game because similar to how you say, Jimmy, the star coming back, it kind of throws it off a little bit. And Babano kind of alluded to that yesterday when I was talking to him too. So I might not play that, but everything in my mind is telling me to take the Suns, but my heart and the bet history that I have as far as like my knowledge here, we make money with going against Chris Paul when Scott Foster's there, and that's the only way I could think about it, man. So as far as props and anything, I don't want any props in this game. I think it's so much evenly spread around. If I'm taking any props, it's gonna be KD because I think the fact that he didn't close the game last game, I think he didn't get enough shots to close the game out. I think that's another problem that they have as far as chemistry wise. Even though it's the first loss that they had, it's a big loss. You know what I mean? It's not like regular season. I think they probably would have been better off losing in the regular season, just to work on certain things. So the fact that they're dealing with certain shit now, it may be a little too late. So I think the Clippers maybe having a number just based off of the bench problem, and then along with Paul George coming back eventually.
Yeah, it's a great breakdown. The series is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope it ends with the Suns being eliminated. I personally hope that's the case, and we will see here. We do have action. We have Trill OG play today from LJ from H-Town, Suns first quarter, -3. We have a same game parlay from Dan Kelly, KD over 2.5 threes, KD over 29.5 points, and the Suns money line. Pistol Pete, is there anything you're making official here for Clippers Suns?
Nah, I'm not gonna go against that Scott Foster trend. No way. Not even first quarter. No way. Although I hope it does cash because I'm not gonna bet the other side. Hope LJ from H-Town cashes with that one.
Big shout out to Dav Fenn, OG Lowbagger, being with us since day one. Pete, he says sorry he missed the show, but he's gonna watch it soon. And April 18th is his birthday. He says no pressure for a pick.
April 18th? Is that today?
That is today, my friend. I think that you need to deliver the goods to our friend Dav Fenn. who we love dearly. That fan in the house. Yes, you will get a birthday pick from our Pistol Pete Loshak. By the way, Pete's MLB record now moves to 11-4 as he cashes the first 3 under 2.5 in the Tigers game. So now moves to 11-4 plus 8.89 units for Pistol Pete Loshak in MLB to start off the season. So let's review all NBA action here right now on the show. I just went over the action for the Suns game. Let's review all action for the rest of the NBA action. In Atlanta, Boston, we have no action at this point. No action. Oh, wait, we have the Smart. Why don't I have the Smart assists there? What the hell happened to that?
Because he didn't make it official, but Lil Wham liked it. Not as much as the Jared Allen stuff, but he liked it.
Okay. I don't know why. I thought I had all that in here. But we have a lot of action here in the Cavs game. Allen over 10.5 boards at plus 100 for Pete. Wham is Allen double-double at minus 105. Wham's on the Cavs minus 5.5 at minus 115. Dan Kelly loving that. He's also on the Grimes over 2.5 threes and Mitchell Robinson over in the rebounds. And he's on the first quarter over 55. Then we already discussed the Suns prop. So is Smart going to become official, Wham Bam? Or are you keeping that off your card for now?
For now, I haven't locked that in yet, so I can't give it out of official play. Things shit happens throughout the day. I may even forget, so I can't get that out as official play. I haven't bet it yet.
Wow, and we just got, I guess, a 3-run bomb by Cleveland, but after the first 3. So it's already been cashed. The money's already been spent. Nothing to worry there. Wham Bam, great work here. I love also watching Pete cap the capper over the last 6 weeks to a beautiful record. That's all because of your hard work. Thank you for rolling with us. You can catch Wham Bam here every Tuesday on Loshak in the Bag. And we're going to cut this video out. So this will be a separate video for NBA here this afternoon, of which Wham Bam will star in. Wham Bam, thank you for your hard work. Any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Oh, man, make sure you tune back in on Tuesday. We'll be back live breaking down more playoff games. And go Lakers, man. Go Lakers. It's looking a little, my plus 2,000 to win a championship. It's looking pretty good. I'm just saying. Shout out to the Lakers.
It is exciting. The Lakers action is exciting. All right. We have the Taint play of the day in as well. It is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Wow. Okay.
The Tampa Bay Rays is the Taint play of the day. Rays money line at minus 115 for our very own Matty Ice. All right, let's review all action, and we will close on the birthday pick. So here we go. In NHL, Loshak has a Rangers Devils series to go 7 at plus 200. And Spenny is on the Rangers money line. DG's on the Rangers money line. And I'm not going to bet the Devils here. But I'm certainly very concerned about my Rangers futures from the beginning of the year. Loshak's on the Leafs minus 1 at plus 108. Ron Crawford's on the Leafs in regulation. For the sake of this city. The thing is, we know that this is a passionate group, but they lose in the first round. They don't light their city on fire like we do in Vancouver. Vegas minus 1 will be bet by me. I will bet Vegas minus 1. I know the Sharps are on the Jets, and God bless you guys. Then I'm going to move on the over 6 in Seattle, Colorado. Over 6. I was trying not to move on game ones. I tried very hard, but I am moving on these 2. In baseball, Pete's already cashed the first 3 under 2.5 in Cleveland Tigers. He's on the Phillies first 3 at minus 120. I'm on the Marlins first 5 at minus 110. Taint play today's Rays money line at minus 115. I'm interested in the Reds first 5. Loshak's on yes run first inning in Angels Yankees, and DC Capper is on the Yankees over. Angels Yankees over. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today's Baltimore minus 1. Loshak's on the Twins first 3 minus 115. Jose's on the first 5 over 4.5 and Twins Red Sox. And I want unders in that game. I don't want to double up. I might though. I do think that the unders are in play in that spot. Rangers, Royals, we stayed off. Loshak's on the first 3 under 2.5 at minus 125 in Arizona, St. Louis. I want to join him on that. A lot of us want it. Jays, Astros, we stayed off. Loshak's on the Rockies minus 1 at plus 131. Biggest bet of the day for BJ's on the Cubs minus 1.5. Jose's on the Cubs first 5 minus a half. Pete and I have stayed off that game. I came close to wanting to move on the first 5 under 4, but I got talked off it, and I'm fine with that. Loshak's doubling up on the Mariners. First 5, -160. Full game, -1 at -109. Loshak's on the Braves. First 3 at -140. And I'm interested in the first 5 over in New York, LA. I just want to spend a little bit more time on that one. So there we go. Pistol Pete, it is now time for the birthday pick play of the day for our friend, Dav Fenn. What is your plan of action, Pete?
Stupid. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was looking at it. I was like, man, I wish I had taken a Rangers Devils to go 6 or more at -210 than to go 7, because I don't want to be rooting for like a game 6 where I have to not necessarily like the side that I'm going to have to be rooting for it to go 7. But all right, well, we'll keep it. Maybe I'll hedge out if it actually goes to a 6th game and I need someone to win. I can do that, right, Jim?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. All right. Dav Fenn, first of all, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hope the show, entertained you and made you laugh regardless of how this pick does. I did my absolute best. I got this, the who-banging hat, the mustache, the Inspector Gadget jacket. I did everything I could in this show to give you a laugh or two, Dav Fenn. Happy birthday to you. I hope your friggin' year is friggin' awesome. Dav Fenn. Hope your entire life is friggin' awesome, but particularly this next upcoming year for you, Dav Fenn. Oh, man. I want to give just the Jarrett Allen over because, it's like kind of obvious. Lil Wham loved it.
Oh, he lost it over that one.
I mean, if he gets injured, then that's that. But if he plays 40 minutes, how does he not get at least 11 rebounds? Other than that, Arizona, St. Louis, first 3 under, I think that's solid. But, for birthday picks, I don't know if I want to give those first 3s because a lot of books still don't offer them. Winnipeg, Vegas, first period under. That's just such a. Actually, you know what? Jimmy the Bag. Let's do this. I'm a believer. Toronto Maple Leafs -1 +108 birthday pick for you, Dav Fenn. A dog.
The enormous sack on you, Pete. I will tell all of my friends here about the birthday pick of the day. Will give them confidence. I won't mention that your balls touch toilet water. I won't mention any of that. I'll say that he really believes this.
Wow. I think it's a solid play.
Wow. On a team that hasn't won their first round series in 6 straight years.
Jim, we're just talking about game 1 here. We're not talking about fucking Stanley Cup title. We're talking about game 1.
Wow. Birthday pick is on the Leafs -1. I see they haven't broken your heart. Look, I love when they lose. I want them to lose. I want all Canadian teams to lose. I want all teams in the NHL to lose, except for the Canucks. I want every team to lose. I hate them all. Great stuff, Pete. Always fun rocking with you on these Tuesdays, and you are white hot. Please stay hot. It will help for our promo.
Yeah, we got to promote the hell out of this shit. You know what I'm saying? To get good ratings. You know what I'm saying?
7 straight shows Pete's going for, but it's not just little wins. I mean, he's been smashing. So he's going for his 7th consecutive winning show here. Jose, join us here for the closing out of the show today. Jose, you have a Bobano on the Tuesday show for Say Hey Plays at 5 p.m. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Happy birthday, Dav Fenn. Thank you for all the support you've given us over the years. It means a ton to us. Enjoy the birthday, my man. North Ender, Jake Burns, AOD, Andrew G, BJ, Vipe, Dan Kelly, Matty Ice, Abel Alvarez announced. North Ender, Johnny Guns, Harold Williams, Astute Chaos. He's on Atlanta, Boston, first half under 118, and New York, Cleveland, first half under 110.5 for Astute Chaos. Ish, your boy, Dan Kelly, all you guys, thank you. Bo Jackson, Officer of 50 Ayash Yalla, Tori Coker, Danny Lopez, Real Deal Prime, Darren Turner, Vince Vegas, Nasty Nate. Thank you guys. Billy Brisbane, he will be on Thursday here, and he's had an excellent season. Brizzy, and right now Brizzy and Durrell battling it out for the best record of the cappers on our show. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much for your support. Spenny Penny Bombs, Joe Yurkovich, Rick J, Lucky Power. Thank you guys.
The sweet sounds of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I haven't heard much of that lately. I don't know how he's been
hiding
it.
No,
Yeah.
Pete might have moved out of somewhere bad. Who knows? Who
No,
knows?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Worldly man, this Peter Loshak. By the way,
Yes.
there have been a lot of talks about the Lakers making the NBA Finals, and if the Celtics make the NBA Finals, the Celtics Lakers. If you guys thought I was merciless on Daryl last year, I will fly to Wham's house if the fucking Celtics win. The Celtics dominate the Lakers. I will be merciless. There will be no hesitation of my shit talk. Did I learn any lessons from last year? Absolutely not. The Celtics are the fucking balls.
Hey, it worked well last year. I go right back to the hole.
Exactly. Why not? They call me 2 fingers, 1 hole. I'll fucking jam all 3 of them in there for the Lakers.
Jesus, 3 fingers, 1 hole.
Yeah, for the Lakers.
Oh my god, Jesus! We have a new nickname. New nickname alert. Gotta write this down. 3 fingers.
Especially for the Lakers. Yeah, but I hope that they won't do shit. The Lakers fucking suck, anyways.
3 fingers, 1 whole bouquet. God, it's just getting worse.
Yeah, well, the worst opponent.
I love it. Pete, it is a treat to rock with you. Do you have any last words for the Cappers here supporting the show?
Shout out to Bo Jackson and Dan Kelly for making John Starks and Patrick Ewing references earlier in the show. That's my generation, talking about my people, my generation. Shout out to Bo Jackson and Dan Kelly. Shout out to all Gen Xers and older. Hell yeah.
The greatest generation.
Close to it.
There you go. Actually, JW, you're right.
And Anthony Mason, he was what?
Nothing. Hey, we're talking Mace.
Oh, sorry, I got one. Yeah. Anthony Mason. Anthony Mason was in a tie with Charles Oakley for my favorite players back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s. Hell yeah.
Yeah, remember when Anthony Mason got busted for being in a limo with a very underage girl?
No, but I think he was in a club fight that was near. I think I saw a club fight out of my window. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to look back at the dates. But I think to recall there was a club fight near where I grew up, and then I read about it in the papers yesterday. I mean, the next day, and yeah. Anyway, point is, hell yeah! Shout out to Anthony Mason wherever he might be dead, but shout out to Anthony Mason wherever he is right now.
He is no longer with us. Yes,
is he? Did he die? Did he really die?
February 28, 2015. No longer with us. But when he after he got busted with the very underage girl in his limo, it was right before the start of the season in Charlotte, and the magazine had already come out for Game 1, and it had Anthony Mason. It said Charlotte's passionate leader right there on the front after very underage, not just a little bit underage, very underage,
like Karl Malone kind of stuff.
Well, he didn't marry her. Oh no, impregnate her. Sorry, impregnate her.
God, yeah, I'm reading on the Wikipedia. I had no idea about any of this.
Yes,
all I remember was he had a cool looking face.
He was Charlotte's passionate leader with a 13-year-old in a limo.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm reading about this right. All right, go on.
Oh no, that's fine. I'll pull these out.
Pete's childhood hero is just getting sullied right in front of his face. What's next? You're gonna tell him Bill Cosby's a bad guy? Oh my God! Imagine. Jesus.
Jose, do you mind lecheing us into the future and blessing all of our action?
Yeah. No one Google Bill Cosby. Out of jail, though. Free man, Bill Cosby. Everyone have a lovely evening. Say hey, plays. Walking Dead back here again. The NBA, we'll be cutting that out. Go watch that again for all your NBA needs. Pete, your hair looks lovely. Not even your facial hair, your regular hair.
Thank you very much.
Oops, you're feeling a little baseball-y now. I see you, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
I see you, Pete. Leche, hey, los fucking buck.